hurmatli komissiya raisi, hurmatli a'zolar, hurmatli bitiruvchi talabalarimiz. Mana bugun navbatdagi yakunlar asosiy kunni boshlashni arafasidamiz. Bir necha kundan buyon mana shu jarayon davom etyapti. Yaxshi tarzda komissiya a'zolarimizga katta rahmat demoqchiman. Ijroda yaxshi tarzda o'tkazyapmiz. Talabalarimiz ham harakat qilib o'zlarini magistrlik dissertatsiyalarini himoya qilishni maqsad qilib kelyaptilar. Bugun ham sizdan yaxshi bir himoya jarayonlarini kutib qolamiz. Komissiya oldida sizning 2 yillik bilimimiz, egallagan tajribalaringizni himoya qilasizga umiddamiz, ishonamiz sizlarga. Yaxshi himoyalar bo'lishiga. Va sizlarga hammalarga omad tilaymiz. Tabriklaymiz shu bosqichga, shu jarayonga yetib kelganlaringiz bilan. Hamda keling bugungi komissiya tarkibi bilan tanishtirib o'taman sizlarni. Kasimova Ra'no Rahmatullayevna, Buxoro davlat universiteti Ingliz, Adabiyoti va tarjimashunoslik kafedrasi dotsenti, filologiya fanlari doktori, komissiya raisi. Ahmedova Mehnigor Bahodirova, Buxoro davlat universiteti Ingliz, Adabiyoti va tarjimashunoslik kafedrasi dotsenti, filologiya fanlari doktori, komissiya raisi o'rinbosari Shuhrat hali ishtirok etadilar. Ochilov Ulug'bek Sayfullayevich, Buxoro davlat universiteti fakultetlar a'lo chet tillar kafedrasi dotsenti, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, PhD, komissiya a'zosi bo'ladi. Gafarroz Murozoqxo'jayevna, Osiyo xalq universiteti xorij til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi mudiri, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, PhD, dotsent, komissiya a'zosi. Jalilova Zanigor Obidovna, Osiyo xalq universiteti fundamental fanlar kafedrasi professori, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, PhD, komissiya a'zosi. Sadullayeva Matbulovna, Osiyo xalq universiteti xorij til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi dotsenti, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, PhD, komissiya a'zosi. Hamda Mustafa Maqsad Asqarovna, Osiyo xalq universiteti xorij til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi o'qituvchisi, kotib. Mana komissiya tarkibidan tanishib o'tdik. Endi bugungi himoya jarayonlari, rasmiy himoya jarayonlarida mavjud talablar, tartiblar haqida qisqacha sizlarga ma'lumot berish uchun so'zni komissiya raisimizga beramiz. Marhamat.
Assalomu alaykum. Zufar Zohirjonovich, Zumrat Zohirjon, komissiya a'zolari, talabgorlar, amallaringizni ko'rib turganimdan xursandman. Mana bugun yana 4-kun, adashmasam dushanba kunidan beri mana shunday magistrlik himoyalari jarayonini chiroyli o'tkazib kelyapmiz. Bugun mana shu jarayonlarning 4-kuni. O'ylaymanki, bugun mana shu yerda jamlangan 14 kishini biz 14 kishidan biz bir yangi sohadagi yangiliklarni, fanimizga qo'shilayotgan yangi bir izlanishlarni ko'ramiz deb umid qilamiz. Endi talabgorlar, sizlardan nima uchun talabgorlar deyapman, bilasizlar, akademik daraja uchun talabgorsizlar hozir, akademik darajani olish uchun. Endi qaysidirlaringiz bizlarni Buxoro davlat universitetida o'qiysizlar, qaysidirlaringiz yana jahon tillarida boshqa vuzlarda o'qiysizlar, 4 yil bakalavriatni shu yerlarda o'qiysizlar, lekin mana magistrlik darajasini olish uchun mana aynan mana shu Osiyo xalqaro universitetida o'qib, 2 yildan beri o'sha ilmiy izlanishlarni qilib, mana bugun yakuniy natijalaringizni bizlarni e'tiborimizga havola qilishga olib kelgansizlar. Bu sohada sizlarga bugungi himoyada omad tilagan holda talabalarni tanishtirib o'taman. Demak, har bir tadqiqotchidan, ya'ni magistr talabadan o'sha o'zining ishini 7 minut vaqt beramiz. 7 minutda sizlardan iltimos kirish qismini gapirib o'tirmanglar. Chunki kirishingizni biz qo'limizda mana dissertatsiyangiz turibdi. Dissertatsiyangizdan ishingizning dolzarbligi, obyekti, predmeti bemalol ko'rib bilamiz. Maqsad vazifasi. Siz agar uni bitta aytib o'tirsangiz, 7 minutning ichida o'zingizni qilgan hissangizni ko'rsata olmaysiz. Bizning asosiy maqsadimiz esa sizning o'zingiz tomoningizdan qilingan yangilik nimadan iborat va o'sha yangiligingizni ko'rsatsangiz, savol-javoblar ham o'shanga yarasha ham bo'ladi. Agar siz faqat kirish bilan bog'lanib o'sha 7 minutni, 7 daqiqani kirishga bag'ishlasangiz bo'ldi. Sizning savol yo'qlayveradi, chunki siz yangiligingizni ko'rsata olmaysiz. Maqsadimiz sizni qilgan o'z ishingiz nimadan iborat. Sizgacha bu ishlar qilingan, ancha olimlar o'rgangan. Yangi narsani, bu ilmni, nazariyani, yangi nazariyani yaratish uchun kuchli olim bo'lish kerak. yillar davomida beshikdan qabulgacha ilm izla dediniz, yillar davomida izlanish kerak. 2 yilda magistrlik dissertatsiyasini yozish uchun yetarlicha sizlarga vaqt berilgan, lekin bu judayam bir yangi nazariya ixtiro qilish uchun nima emas, yetarli muddat emas. Endi o'sha doirasida, magistrlik dissertatsiyasi doirasida nimadir hissa qo'shgan bo'lsangiz, fanga ozginagina bo'lsa ham o'zingizni hissangizni qo'shgan bo'lsangiz, biz ana shundan xursand bo'lamiz va ana shu narsani sizlardan kutamiz. Ana shu uchun iltimos qilgan bo'lardim, faqat o'zingizni qilgan amaliy natijalaringiz nimadan iborat? Nazariyani olimlar o'rgangan, siz o'sha olimlar nazariyasiga tayangan holda o'zingizni tadqiqotingizni olib o'tasiz va amaliy jihatdan nimadir tahlillarni olib o'tasiz. Ana shu jihatlarni bizga ko'rsatib bersangiz yetarli. Demak, 7 minut prezentatsiyada, undan so'ng savol-javoblar va taqlidchilarga navbat beriladi. Bitta talabgorni 15 minut eshitamiz. Tushunarli? Chunki kun davomida 14 kishini mana ortiga tugatyapmiz 3 kundan beri. Sizlarni ham juda kunga olib ishlayapmiz yo'q. Shu javoblaringizni beringlarda chiqarib iltimos qiynamanglar komissiyani. Savolni konkret javob berishga harakat qilinglar. Eshitinglar, savolni oxirigacha konkret javob beringlar. Aylanib yurmanglar. Bilmaysizmi? Yoki u sizni tadqiqotingiz doirasida bilmaydimi? Ayting. Yo'q, men tadqiqotim bunaqa emas, men bunaqa. Mana bu narsani o'rganganman deng, konkret javob bering. Tushunarli? Va oxirida baholash, kunning oxirida har bir komissiya o'z bahosini qo'yib boradi mezonlar asosida va oxirida hamma komissiya a'zolarining ballari qo'shilib umumiy komissiya soniga bo'linib foiz chiqariladi. E'tiroz biror nima bo'ladigan bo'lsa, shu oxirida komissiya faoliyatini tugatmasdan eshitamiz, kimda nima e'tiroz bo'lsa. Nimadan YouTubedan javob berganingizni, savollarni, o'zingiz qanday nima qilganingizni, taqdimot qilganingizni ko'rsatib beramiz agar e'tiroz bo'lsa. Lekin bunaqa holatlar bo'lmaydi, chunki biz jarayonda hammasini aytib boryapmiz, kim qanday himoya qilyapti, jarayonni o'zida aytib boryapmiz. Bunday bo'lmaydi, e'tirozlar bo'lgani yo'q hozirgacha, bundan keyin ham bo'lmaydi deb umid qilaman va sizlardan ham mana shunaqa e'tiroz bo'ladigan ishni ko'rsatmanglar, iltimos. Ana shu narsani iltimos qilaman. Omad tilayman hammalaringizga, rahmatingizni bermoqchiman. So the first presenter, Xorijiy, and the topic of the dissertation is the analysis of euphemisms in English and Uzbek political discourse. Scientific supervisor is Rahman Musinovna. Reviewers are Jalil Zanivorovidovna and Jumara Nuzuma. So, Xorijiy Jumayevna, you have only 7 minutes to present the main issues of your dissertation. Please pay attention to the time management.
Thank you. First of all, good morning, dear examination committee and my honored teachers. I'm really great to stand here to present my dissertation work, which is entitled Analysis of Euphemisms in English and Uzbek Political Discourse. The main object of my research work is presidential speeches in both English and Uzbek presidential speeches. The research work consists of introduction, 3 chapters, 6 paragraphs, conclusion, and list of literature. The first chapter looks at what kind of euphemisms are there in English political discourse, and here we can see from historical wars to contemporary pandemics, politicians continuously adapt euphemisms to maintain public support. For example, here the research gives some examples of English political euphemistic units. For example, collateral damage instead of saying civilian, and enhanced interrogation, it means torture, and 1.2 chapter 1.2 gives examples of Uzbek euphemistic units which are analyzed from Uzbek linguistic scholars. For example, as Holmanova said, dünyonu terk etti, dünyadan öttü, instead of saying die, or water shortage, gas shortage, they say vaqtinchalik uzilishlar. So let's move to 2.1 chapter. It's analyzes grammatical features of euphemistic units in English political discourse. Here, the research analyzes three main points of grammatical features of euphemisms. In English political euphemisms, mainly used in three grammatic ways: passive voice, nominalization, and modal verbs, or by hedging. Here, by giving passive voice, the speaker hides the actor of the sentences. Nominalization here, for example, industrial restructuring. Here, the speaker hides human actions here. And the third one is by giving modal verb. By giving modal verb, speaker reduce the panic leaders can say might. For example, we only say might. It wasn't a final promise. The grammatic structure here gives the government legally escape route. The next example, here I gave some examples about grammatical functions. In the 2.2 chapter, here grammatical functions of euphemisms in Uzbek political discourse. The research analyzes that as Uzbek language is agglutinative language, euphemistic units usually used by adding some suffixes or word meaning extension, or using V collect to show the respect to the listener. And let's hear some examples to grammatical functions of Uzbek euphemistic units. And Uzbek euphemistic units are mostly mainly used by medical metaphors also. Here, for example, yes.
So your topic is connected with euphemisms in political discourse. Please share with us the euphemisms which you found in political discourse.
Okay. Here, scholars, yes?
Not scholars.
Mainly I found, yes?
Euphemisms in political discourse. Your topic is related to the analysis of euphemisms in English and Uzbek political discourse. So the examples which you are giving are not connected with the policy. That's why give us political discourse examples where you have found euphemisms.
Yes, in first chapter, I
don't speak about first chapter. Speak about the third chapter where you analyzed euphemisms of English and Uzbek political discourse.
Okay, let's start from third chapter. Third chapter analyzes euphemistic units in English Uzbek political discourse. In 3.1 chapter, here are some examples which I analyzed. The first example is during his speech, Shavkat Mirziyoyev said that jahonning turli mintaqalardagi nizolar va global mintaqaviy tinchlik va xavfsizlik jiddiy tahdid solmoqda. Here the euphemistic unit is nizolar. He tries to soften harsh realities like war, maintaining international politeness without directly saying to the listeners. In another example by Donald Trump used the word skirmish here instead of directly saying war it is. And here in both language, nizolar and skirmish are using instead of directly saying war. Avoid to avoid negative effect of society. And the next example is Jahon miqyosida ishonch inqirozi kuzatilmoqda. Here euphemistic unit is ishonch inqirozi. Here
Your time is up.
She's answering the question.
Ah, you already saw. No, I asked.
Here the euphemistic unit is ishonch inqirozi. Here the research analyzed some examples and 3.2 chapter. I tried to analyze their pragmatic function in a context. For example, while they saying euphemistic units, their purpose mitigate sensitive realities, legitimize political action, avoid direct blame. For example,
thank you, Xorijiy. So your time is up, and now time for questions and answers. Do you want to our commission if you have any questions? So you have no right to ask questions if you are a reviewer. She's a reviewer. She's a reviewer. So what about others? So until you think of your questions, I will ask my questions. So will you go back to the previous slide? This one. Thank you. Skirmish, yeah?
yes,
So whose speech is it?
Donald Trump's.
Donald Trump's
Yes.
speech. Okay. Can you read the Uzbek description of skirmish? Written here.
Mojaroni kuchaytirish ko'rsatadi.
Okay. If it strengthens, will it be euphemism? Question to you.
Yes, it's euphemism because he is.
What's euphemism?
Euphemism is to say harsh words instead of to say hard words. To use another softer one.
Okay, soft. That. What do you use here?
He used a
Çaytara ko'rsatadi, mi?
yes, mainly English political euphemism is military-centered euphemism. They only try to use not how as Uzbek says soft. They use harder than Uzbek political.
Okay, thank you. Next slide. On to the next slide. No, this one. Go back. Yeah, again. Where there was classification. No. Oh, this one. No, previous one. This one. Okay. So analysis demonstrates that euphemisms are not simply softer words. They function as strategic linguistic tools that mitigate sensitive realities, legitimize political actions. Please give us example for legitimizing political actions.
Okay, legitimizing is.
What's legitimization, first of all? And how do euphemisms legitimize political actions?
Legitimize it means qonunlashtirishda
How? With the help of euphemisms, give example and prove your statement.
By giving example to legitimize, we can say that iqtisodiy inqirozlar tufayli narxlarni, for example, optimallashtirish. Here he avoids to say that directly say who is increasing. Here hides the main result of the action. By
Is it legitimization?
yes.
Is it? Legitimize qonunlashtirish deyapsiz, ha? Lekin endi yashirish deyapsiz. Kim nimani narxni oshirayotganini yashirishchi deyapsiz, legitimization deyapsiz. Shu to'g'rimi? O'zi javob berganingizni tushundingizmi? Nima javob beryapsiz? Okay, where did you get your examples?
From research, it's from linguists, scholars, works, articles. For example,
No, you didn't understand the question. I'm asking about
these examples.
Where did you get?
From online websites I took it, and from jurnallar va maqolalardan online xalq so'zlari gazetalar, online gazetalar.
Political discourse-ni, misollarini qayerdan tanladingiz? Ana o'zbekcha savol bering.
Political discourse-ni misollarini prezident nutqlaridan, Donald Trumpni va Shavkat Mirziyoyevning nutqlaridan oldim. YouTube'da videolardan va jurnallardan oldim. Can I show them?
Yes, please. Next question would be show them.
Okay.
So your object is?
My object is the speech of presidential speeches of Uzbek and English.
Okay, do you have the speech of Islam Karimov?
No, only Shavkat
Why?
Mirziyoyev.
He was the president of Uzbekistan. Barack Obama is the president of the world.
I choose only Shavkat Mirziyoyev and Donald Trump's speeches.
But you're saying presidential discourse, presidential speech.
I try to analyze their speeches only.
Okay, you should have mentioned it in the object section. That's the point. Obyektda aniq ko'rsatilishi kerak. O'tgan safar ham obyekt nima degan savol bergandim. Presidential discourse, presidential speech. Qaysi prezident? Qayerdagi? Internetdan qidirib topmang siz.
Yo'q, mana
bilish
o'zim
kerak narsa.
o'zimda turibdi mana. Mana 63.
Nechta?
27 ta.
Qaysi biri?
Hamma tanlaganlar.
Umuman общий 27 ta bo'lgan. Nechta Shavkat Mirziyoyevdan, nechta Donald Trumpdan?
Shavkat Mirziyoyevdan 13 ta.
Donald Trumpdan 14 ta. Nima uchun bittasidan 14 ta, bittasidan 13 ta? Donald Trump nutlari chiroyliroq.
13 ta olganman. Yo'q, bir xil olganman. Masalan, Warren bergan bo'lsam, Shavkat Mirziyoyevdan. Va shunga kontrast qilib Donald Trumpdan olganman.
Ishingizda bormi?
Ha. Shavkat Mirziyoyevdan
Yo'q, bo'lmagan. O'zidan turgan o'sha. Siz qo'lingizda bormi mana belgilagan o'sha ishingizda bor o'sha narsa?
Ha, bor.
Internetdan hamma narsani ko'rsatsa bo'ladi.
Yo'q, olgan adabiyotlarimni saqlab qo'yganman. Qaysi adabiyotdan olyapman? Qayerdan?
Planshet qachondan beri ishlayapsiz? Yangi judayam ishonchsiz javob berdi savolga. O'zingizga ayting. Bunaqa bo'lmaydi. Kecha publitsistik diskursdagi somatizmlarni bittasi himoya qildi. Qo'lida publitsistik diskursdan qaysi unaqa manbani tanlagan, har bittasini chop etib, tagiga chizib kelgan, qaysi misollarni tanlagan. Ana shuncha qog'oz qo'lda, mana shuncha kattaligida. Ko'rdingizmi kecha?
Yes.
Sizda ham ana shunday bo'lishi kerak.
Gazetalarni
Ha, bu kişiler hepsine böyle şikayet.
Because my
Uz'dan olup o prezident
no, because mine was online. That's why I didn't print it.
Did you put the links in your paper that the sample?
I have links. I have all links that I use it, all websites and videos which I use it, and all are and all work properly. Here I gathered all of them. That's why.
Okay, you have some phrases in italic, like intelligence was civilian analyzed, but errors were committed. It's in italic. Why is it in italic? What is that?
It's 1.1, yes.
I don't know. This one is page 34. Like industrial reconstructing and tactical like the redistribution of forces. These phrases are in italic. What's the reason to put them in italic?
It's chapter 1. I analyzed all euphemisms theories.
Yaxshi, bu eufemizm mi? Aha, o'sha uchun so'rayapman-da, bu eufemizm nima uchun bu bunaqa kursivda berilgan? Agar eufemizm bo'lsa, qaysi sinf bilan olingan bu? 34-bekda mana. Ikkita kursiv bor, o'shani tushundim. Qolganlardan shu muammo bor, bitta bu yerda emas.
Intelligence was civilian, analyzed, but errors were here. Only errors were committed. Here is euphemism, which is given by grammatical way in a passive voice. That's why I gave here.
Qayerdan oldingiz? Ijod qildingizmi?
No.
Qayerdan oldingiz?
I only search it. No, I only give the example to the passive voice here.
Hech qayerdan olinmagan.
It's not information. It's only example to the using euphemisms by passive voice.
Siz ijod qildingizda?
Qayerdan topdingiz?
Ijod qildingizda.
Qayerdan oldingiz? Manbasi ko'rsatilmagan-ku, qayerdan oldingiz shu misolni?
Misolni qayerdan oldingiz?
Misolni qayerdan oldingiz? Manbasi nima qani?
Sample sifatida qo'ydim deyaptilar.
Yaxshi, sample bo'lsa, uni manbasi bo'lishi kerak-ku. Siz o'zini u prezident gaplarini ham qo'yapsiz, siz aslida uni nimasi e'tiborsiz qo'yishga haqqingiz yo'q.
No. I give the sites here. Yes, all of them here. In a third chapter, I gave all examples with sites without. There is no any examples without any sites.
3.2, no citation, nothing. 3.1, see. Expressions such as exchange, nothing. And this one, finish the job, nothing.
Teacher, here I give all examples at the end.
Ana bunu tekrar kursifte sormuşum da qani kurs. Ayol. Shuni aytaman. Mana masalan, manfaatdormiz degan so'z ham qayerdan olingan? Inishik degan so'z ham demak qayerdan olingani aniq. Buni Shavkat Mirziyoyev nuqlaridan olingan. Bunisidan unutdim. Lekin bu yerdagi qaysi nuqtadan?
Is it in conclusion, teacher?
3.1. Uchu bir bittasi ikki boshlanadi.
Bu yerda mana conclusion qilib berganman. Shu chapdagi olganlarimni mana 3.1 ni conclusion berdim.
Conclusion'da qanday misol berish mumkin?
Yo'q,
Conclusion'da overall idea beriladi. 80 conclusion'dan boshqa joydan babi yo'q. Mana Uzbek speech uses Uzbek speech deb mana aytmoqchisiz siz bu yerda.
Political speech, I mean.
Political speech deb mana aniq odamni tanlagansiz, aniq nutqlarni tanlagansiz. Qani Uzbek speech, qani political speech deyishimiz, aniq prezidentni, aniq nutqni tanlayapsiz. Falon nutqni falon joyda aytilgan gapida falon narsa ishlatildi deb qo'yishni o'zbek nutqida deymiz.
O'zbek nutqi deganimizda siz o'zbek millatini nazarda tutasizmi? Millatni nazarda tutasizmi? Xalqni nazarda tutasizmi?
Political speech.
O'sha o'zbek xalqini political speech deyapsizmi siz shunda? O'zbek speech deb
Keyin misol tariqasida ko'rsataman deb ketdan shunda unaqani ko'rsatadi. O'zada e'lonni ko'rsatadi.
Prezident nutqlari dedingiz-ku siz. O'zada political discourse bor ekanmi?
Prezident bergan nutqlaridan olib misol bergan.
O'zada bor ekanmi o'sha?
Hammasini onlayn tanlagan uchburda.
Siz ko'rdingizmi o'sha misolni?
Yo'q, men prezident rasmini ko'rdim, shunday yo'qdim.
Yo'q,
Mana bunday turda xohlagan narsani ochib ko'rish mumkin. O'sha planshetda kelib ko'rsatyaptilar.
Can I show them here? Saqlab qo'yganman. Ishlatganman.
Savollar bo'lmaydi. Mayli, orada.
So, what kind of linguistic devices can be used to create euphemisms in general?
In general,
Yes.
in English,
What kind of literary devices can be used to create, I don't know, to write maybe euphemisms?
in linguistic, like grammatical way.
So linguistic devices, it may contain some stylistic devices,
Okay.
some
Let's look at Uzbek euphemisms as Uzbek language is agglutinative language. Yes, we use some suffixes to show the respect to the listener. For example, hokim keldi, masalan, maktabda o'zgarishlarni ko'rdi. Instead of saying like this, we say viloyat hokimi keldilar va o'zgarishlarni ko'rdilar. Here we are saying some suffixes to show the respect to the listener.
just the suffixes.
Yes, suffixes here we may add, and also by grammatical way we may do them. For example, nominalization. For example, nominalization is verb moves its function to the noun. For example, sog'lomlashtirildi, ochiqlantirildi, mavzu xalqqa ochiqlantirildi.
It's a passive voice. In a passive
Yeah.
voice. How about metaphor?
Metaphors, yes. There are three types of metaphors which are used in Uzbek Uzbek political discourse. The first metaphor are road metaphors and medical metaphors. And for example, medical metaphors, for example, korrupsiya davrimizning o'smasi. Here, o'smasi is medical metaphor. By the help of the road metaphor, political leaders use some good expressions like oldimizda qiyin yo'llar turibdi. Here, by the help of the road. And the third one, by the help of the season. For example, yangilanish davri. Bahor yangilanish davri, it means new era, starting new era.
Okay, thank you. That was a reminder. Time for the viewers. The first two viewers, Jamie was able to please leave a comment, please. Maybe you will clarify the points which we didn't understand.
alaykum. Davlat Dissertatsiyasi komissiyasi raisi, hurmatli a'zolar, hurmatli magistrantlar. İjozatingiz bilan taqrizimni o'qishtirsam. Osiyo Xalqaro Universiteti ijtimoiy fanlar va texnika fakulteti kafedrasi 701-109 xorijiy til va adabiyoti ingliz tili mutaxassisi magistranti Xorijiy analysis of euphemisms in English and the Uzbek political discourse mavzusidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga ichki taqriz. İjozatlaringiz bilan asosiy qismini o'qib eshittirsam. Magistrlik dissertatsiyasini o'rganish jarayonida quyidagi tavsifga xarakterli kamchiliklar aniqlandi. Birinchi bo'lim xulosasida section 1 haqida ma'lumotlar berilgan, biroq mundarijada birinchi bo'lim faqat 1-2 bandlardan iborat. Xuddi shuningdek, ayrim joylarda 2-3, 2-4, 3-3 kabi bo'limlardagi ishora qilinadi, lekin mundarijada bunday fasllar alohida ko'rsatilmagan. Bu holat ishning ichki strukturaviy izchilligini pasaytiradi. Tadqiqot metodlari qismida sifat va miqdoriy yondashuvlar, korpus tahlili, kontent tahlili, leksik, semantik va pragmatik tahlil metodlari sanab o'tilgan. Biroq korpus tahlil qilingani, ularning manbasi, davri va tanlash mezonlari yetarlicha aniq ko'rsatilmagan. Miqdoriy tahlil ishonchli bo'lishi uchun korpus tuzilmasi aniq jadval bilan asoslanishi lozim. Ya'ni bunda demak, metodda berilgan, lekin ishning o'zida ko'rilmagan. Uchinchi bo'limda foizlar p-value 95% ishonch oralig'i bootstrap va C1 kabi CI kabi statistik ko'rsatkichlar keltirilgan. Biroq ushbu statistik natijalar qanday dastur, qanday formula, qanday kodlash mezoni va qanday dastlabki ma'lumotlar asosida olingani to'liq izohlanmagan. Statistik tahlilning shaffofligi uchun alohida metodik izoh yoki ilova berilishi maqsadga muvofiq. Dissertatsiyada rasm diagrammalarga ko'p murojaat qilingan, lekin ayrim joylarda figure 2.12 and 2.13 raqamlari kabi sarlavhalar berilib, ularning izohi matn bilan to'liq uyg'unlashmagan yoki raqamlanish takrorlangan. Rasm diagram va jadvallar yagona tartibda raqamlanib, har birining nomi, manbasi va tahliliy izohi aniq berilishi kerak. Matnda ayrim texnik imloviy grammatik xatoliklar, ingliz tilida yozilgan so'zlar, ya'ni xato ketgan. Shuningdek, ba'zi joylarda ortiqcha bo'sh joylar, tinish belgilaridagi nomuvofiqliklar va jumla tuzilishidagi og'irliklar akademik matn sifatini pasaytiradi. Ish to'liq lingvistik va texnik tahlildan o'tkazilishi shart. Ayrim nazariy bayonlarda takroriylik seziladi, xususan eufemizmlarning demak public perception, ideological framing kabi vazifalarini kirish, annotatsiya birinchi bo'lim va uchinchi bo'limda bir necha marta o'xshash shaklda takrorlangan. Takrorlarni qisqartirib, har bir bo'limda alohida yangi tahliliy vazifa bajarilishi ta'minlansa, ishning ilmiy zichligi oshadi. Foydalanilgan adabiyotlar ro'yxati bibliografik rasmiylashtirish bo'yicha kamchiliklar mavjud. Ayrim manbalarda 7 sahifa nashriyot baholab berilishiga nomuvofiqlik kuzatiladi. Ba'zi elektron manbalar murojaat sanasi ko'rsatilmagan yoki link uraladi, ya'ni to'liq rasmiy formatda berilmagan. Adabiyotlar ro'yxati yagona bibliografik standart asosida qayta tartibga solinishi zarur. Ko'rsatilgan kamchiliklar dissertatsiyaning ilmiy yo'nalishini inkor etmaydi, balki uning metodik aniqligi, statistik asoslanganligi, strukturaviy izchilligi va rasmiylashtirilish sifatini yanada takomillashtirishga xizmat qiladi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, Xorijiy analysis of euphemisms in English and Uzbek political discourse mavzusidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasi 701-109 xorijiy til va adabiyot ingliz tili mutaxassisligi bo'yicha magistrlik dissertatsiyalarga qo'yiladigan talablarga javob beradi va muallifga magistrlik akademik darajasini berish uchun tavsiya qilinadi. Osiyo Xalqaro Universiteti professori Zarnigul beriladi. Ruxsatlaringiz bilan tashqi taqrizni o'qib eshittirsam. Demak, tashqi taqriz Osiyo Xalqaro Universiteti ijtimoiy fanlar va texnika fakultetida 701-109 xorijiy til va adabiyot ingliz tili va adabiyoti mutaxassisi magistranti Xorijiy analysis of euphemism in English and Uzbek political discourse mavzusidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga taqriz. C'ya kirish 3 bob asosiy boblar bo'yicha xulosalar umumiy xulosa 60 dan ortiq manbani hamroh bo'lgan adabiyotlar o'rtasida iborat. Muallif filosofik kontekstual va pragmatik metodlarni unumli foydalanilgan, ayniqsa 3-2 bobda keltirilgan ma'lumotlar tadqiqotning amaliy ahamiyatini yaxlit ko'rsatadi. Muallif efemizmlarning pragmatik rollarini softening, ya'ni madaniy qadriyatlari bilan birga bevosita bog'lay olgan. Demak, unda muayyan qiyinchiliklar, ya'ni o'zbek tilida keltirilgan kabi aktual misollar orqali siyosiy voqelik til vositasi qanday turlicha bo'yalishi ishonarli dalillangan deb berganlar. Tadqiqotda kelajakda mo'ljallangan prognozlash modeli, prediktiv model ishlab chiqilgani ishning zamonaviyligi ta'minlaydi. Ishning adabiyotlar ro'yxatida xorijiy manbalar juda ko'p, biroq ularning aksariyati g'arbiy maktabga tegishli. Kelajakda Markaziy Osiyo pragmalingvistik maktabi vakillarining fikrlariga yanada keng urg'u berish tadqiqot balansini mustahkamlaydi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, Xorijiy tadqiqot davomida mustaqil ilmiy fikrlash va murakkab lisoniy hodisalarni tahlil qilish qobiliyatini to'la namoyon etgan. Dissertatsiya 709 va xorijiy til va adabiyot mutaxassisligi talablariga to'liq mos keladi va yuqori baholanishiga loyiq deb hisoblayman. Taqrizchi Buxoro davlat universiteti Xorijiy tillar fakulteti ingliz tilshunosligi kafedrasi dotsenti Juman. E'tiborlaringiz uchun rahmat.
Your responses to your viewers, please.
Thank you for your all, for your feedbacks. Next word I will take into consideration or suggestions and advices.
Thank you. So, next presenter is Luciano from Xorijiy. The topic of the dissertation is the peculiarity of expression of ugliness in English and Uzbek proverbs. Scientific supervisor is Norma Mamluda Faizulovna, and the viewers are Gafara Murodokudun and Shkurva Martina Askarana. So, the Dora from Xorijiy, you have only 7 minutes to present your dissertation.
Good morning, respected Chairman and members of the examination committee and dear participants. Today I would like to present my master's dissertation about the peculiarity of expression of ugliness in English and Uzbek proverbs. So, the actuality of the research applies in the insufficient study of the concept of ugliness in English and Uzbek proverbs, while many scholars have investigated proverbs from semantic and lingual cultural perspective. No comprehensive comparative research has been devoted especially to the expression of ugliness in these two languages. This study aims to address that gap. The object of my research work are approximately 2,000 English and Uzbek proverbs were selected from Karl Matter and Karl Matt's proverbs.
2,000 proverbs?
Yes.
The book's name.
Yes.
No, this is not the book's name. This
About
is
proverbs.
the amount of proverbs which he analyzed. Amount of proverbs.
Now in their research, not the 2,000.
But when you include in this case in your object that the 2,000, approximately 2,000 English and Uzbek proverbs were selected.
I use the
That's the name, not the name of the book.
not the name.
Here she gave the quantity that she analyzed 2,000 Uzbek
From
and
where?
English.
From the book Karamantov and Karamantov's proverbs.
Yes.
Subject is the linguistic, semantic, stylistic, cognitive, pragmatic, and linguo-cultural peculiarities of expressing the concept of ugliness, English and Uzbek proverbs. The aim of the research is to investigate and comparatively analyze the representation of the concept of ugliness in English and Uzbek proverbs and
Please speak louder and distinct in order we could understand what you are telling, okay?
Determine its semantic, stylistic, cognitive, pragmatic, and linguocultural characteristics, as well as the similarities and differences in its conceptualizations in both languages.
Okay, move to your third part. Where did you do analysis?
First, comparative analysis. Okay. I want to show the structural patterns of representing the concept of agnes in English and Uzbek proverbs. They are English and Uzbek proverbs show many similarities in the expression of agnes in both tradition. Agnes is connected mainly with moral and spiritual defects rather than physical appearance. For example, when comparison is as ugly as it holds. In Uzbek, eşapka atlas yoksa ham ot bo'lmas. Antithesis is beauty is only skin deep. Husn ketar, xulq qolar. Cause effect is pride comes before fall. Kibrlik oxiri xorlik. Metaphorical structure is wolf in sheep's clothing. It's like ichdan chiqqan ilon. The semantic analysis allows the classification of proverbs expressing agnes into four major categories: moral agnes, intellectual agnes, social agnes, and physical agnes. Among these categories, moral agnes occupies the most prominent position in both proverbial tradition. They are the semantic categories: hypocrisy, intellectual agnes, false beauty, and inner beauty. For example, pride comes before a fall. The common meaning is arrogance leads to failure. Yes. And hypocrisy, a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's Uzbek proverbs is içinden çıkan ilon. The common meaning is the hidden evil and deception. Intellectual agnes is empty vessels make the most noise. Bilimsiz boş kazandık. Ignorance and foolishness. False beauty is all that glitters is not gold. Sırtiyal drop, içhal drop is about the appearance, maybe deceptive. Deceptive. Inner beauty is handsome. Is it handsome? Does it's sun or dot sun about the appearance. They are metaphorical about models. According to the lack of M. Johnson, metaphors is not merely stylistic device, but a fundamental mechanism of human thought through which abstract concepts are understood is term of concrete experience. The analysis of this corpus demonstrates that proverbs expressing agnes as primarily built around four major metaphorical models. The first one is agnes as animal, agnes as darkness, and agnes as bird, and agnes as deformity. In conclusion, I want to say that studies reveal that the concept of agnes in English and Uzbek proverbs is associated mainly with moral and spiritual defects rather than physical appearance. And both cultures condemn negative qualities such as arrogance and hypocrisy, greed, ignorance, and dishonesty. English and Uzbek proverbs demonstrate many similarities in the use of metaphorical, comparative, and cause effect structures. At the same time, some differences reflect the unique cultural values and worldview of each nation. Findings confirm that proverbs serve as important linguistic and cultural tools for transmitting moral values and social norms.
Thank you. So, it's time for questions and answers. Now, if you have any questions, feel free.
The first question, one by one. Okay, the first one, why you choose exactly the book of Karamatova's? This is, yes, answer.
This is corpus about Proverbs. Mine seems about Proverbs.
Why you did not choose other translators? As I understood that you work just on this, I mean the book, I mean right, that which is given in 3 languages, Uzbek, Russian and English. Proverbs, maqollar, poslovica kitobidagi rahmat, 3ta demak nomlanish berilgan bo'lsa, u yerda 3ta tilda bo'ladi. Birinchisi savolni oxirigacha eshitib. Yana qaytib aytaman, har bir magistrni etiketi bor-da, iltimos. Demak, shu siz kitobdan faqat 2 ta tilni olib tahlil qilgansiz, to'g'rimi? Did you compare the other translators' work? For instance, in English, the original version given, for instance, 1, but did you try to analyze other translators' work as well? How they did the translation of this, for instance, the proverb? You understand my point, right? English tilida bitta original demak proverbni bu kishi bunday tarjima qilganlar. Lekin yana boshqa tarjimonlarni ishini ham ko'rib chiqamiz. Nimaga siz aynan shu kitobga fokusingizni qaratgansiz? Ana shunga birinchi javob bering, ochib berdim. In English.
Concept of awareness.
The second question.
Dilrahim so'lidan qizar. Dilrahim sizga savol beriladi. Okay. Did you analyze translation? No, you didn't translate. You didn't analyze the translation. That's okay. You can say that you didn't analyze the translation. Next question.
Okay, the next question is, if you did not analyze the translation, here is maybe I did not understand your point, how you, demonstrate the presentation. I have a question. Okay, the proverbs, how you choose, for instance, bitta narsani man tushunmadim, siz shu ingliz tilidagi proverblarni va o'zbek tilidagi, ya'ni shu maqollarni bir-biri bilan qiyos, ya'ni tahlil qildingiz, shundaymi? Xo'p, siz tahlil qilgan bo'lsangiz, u holatda bu proverblarni faqat shu undan fokus qaratdingiz-ku, shu Karomatovning ishlariga qaratdingiz. Am I right? So here, okay, tell me the novelty of your research paper. The novelty of your research paper.
What you are looking for the novelty from the slide.
Scientific novelty is that for the first time the concept of awareness
So they're here, you should answer us, not they answer us.
awareness concept
Use English language, please.
the semantic, pragmatic, and we analyze the concept of awareness, we analyze with the pragmatic, semantic, and lingual-cultural sides, and we and similarities and differences Arabistan, halkasız diye.
And the result of your research?
Result is the relationship between two like culture, like English and Uzbek culture, about the adımız proverbs. İşte madeniyatını okumuş bir konseptiste klasörlerin özelliklerinde metaforik bir yöntümle.
So what is naughty once more? You can read that. I want to hear. I didn't hear it.
For the first time, the concept of abundance is comprehensively investigated through comprehensive analysis of English and Uzbek proverbs.
What kind of analysis? Comprehensive. Comparative analysis. Comprehensive investigated through comprehensively investigated through the comparative analysis dersi. Yaxshi, qani mana savol kelyapti. Agar comprehensively investigated bo'lsa, comprehensively nima degani? Polностью, ha? Polностью degani bitta Karomatovning kitobi degani. Ana shu savolga javob bering. Polностью o'rganib ularni. Hozir siz Karomatov qilmagan nima ishni qildingiz? Ana shu savolga javob bering.
Karomatov yig'gan maqollarni.
U yerda
Yig'gan, o'sha tahlil qilyapti, kompaniya qilyapti.
Shu 500 ta prover ingliz tilida yig'ilgan, endi masalan 500 ta o'zbek tilida, 500 ta kelin rus tilida yig'ilgan, deylik. Yig'gan, chiqargan,
kitob qilib chiqargan. Men ko'rganman, kitob menda ham bor. Kitob bor. Ingliz, o'zbek, rus maqollarini bitta kitobga yig'gan, yomma-yom qo'yib chiqqan. Lekin u yerda tahlil yo'q. U ilmiy asar emas, kitob. Proverbs kitob.
izohli emas.
Yo'q.
Izohli yo'q.
o'sha shunaqa savolim bor. Bu bilan bu tarjimasini ishladingizmi degan?
Men bilaman, kitob bor, bilaman. Shuning uchun sinama qilmaysiz. Men siz tarjima emas deb shuning uchun shikayat.
Comprehensively degan so'zni o'qib keladimi bu yerda bitta kitobni?
Magistrlik dissertatsiyasi uchun nima bitta nimaga asoslanish yetarli. Chunki 3 ta tilda beriladi. Lekin men juda ham manzur, men birinchi qildim deyish bu yerda no'rin haqiqatdan. Chunki sizgacha ham ancha ishlar qilingan maqollar ustidan va butun jami maqollarni oldim deyolmaysiz. Chunki maqollar juda ko'p.
Okay, one more question. For the ugliness concept, can it be used instead of beauty, showing the meaning of the beauty? When you say ugly, someone can understand as beauty. Can it be? In any proverb, can you show it? If yes? Zidya.
Yomon chiroyli.
Yomon.
You were answering instead.
Okay. So, apart from yomon chiroyli.
This is just a hint for you. Maybe you will analyze another example like this.
She did not get it.
Have you come across? Okay, please. Yes, if you have.
About beauty.
About ugliness, showing the concept of beauty. Concept of beauty. Concept of ugliness, showing meaning of beauty.
Разрешит редактировать сайт, но как так решим?
Beauty is in deep. Beauty is only skin deep bu ugly degan.
Yok, bu ablına
Bundan sonra
Ne var?
İçki bir
Faqat yuzaki degani.
Buna göre böyle büyütüğünü aqlini o'rniga ishlatilishi bo'lyapti. Mana aksini so'radim.
Sizga aytmoqchi edim. Shuni aks savol bersangiz javobi bo'lmas. Ishidan deydi.
50% javob beriladi.
Yo'q, bormi deb anaqa konseptual savol bergan yo'q. Bormi?
Bo'lsa bering
Shunaqa
deyaptilar.
bormi?
Bo'lsa bering, yo'q bo'lsa yo'q deng. Manda mani ishimda yo'q deng.
Bu o'zi aqliy, o'zi xunuklik, ochiq qarasak agar bu kontekstga qarab o'zgaradi bu xunuklik iborasi. Ichki go'zallik, axloqiy, kulturali go'zallik, bu hammasi xunuklik deb o'ylaymiz.
Beauty is anglishkeni deb beryapti-ku, beautyni o'rniga o'zi aqli ma'nosi ketyapti. Xuddi shuni aksini so'radi. Bormi shunaqa narsa?
Xuddi shunaqasi.
Ugly beauty
Xuddi shu
ma'nosini
proverb
beradi.
emas, o'rnida ishlatilgan. Masalan, ugly degan so'z emas, endi xunuk degan mazmunda kelgan kontekstda, lekin aslida tagidagi ma'no connotation.
All the literals not go to
Pragmatik ma'nosi chiroyli.
Mana all that glitters is not gold masalan. Tushuntiring qancha?
Yana bu ham o'sha bo'lyapti. Yana o'sha.
Yo'q, lekin u chiroyli emas degani. Aqli.
Yana aqli ma'nosi beryapti.
Teskarisini.
Chiroyli, lekin chiroyli emas.
Ha, chiroyli lekin chiroyli
False
emas.
beauty. False beauty.
Ko'rinyapti chiroyli lekin aslida chiroyli emas.
Ana bu inner beauty deb bo'lishi mumkin. Handsome.
This is handsome does.
Aqli yo'q bu yerda. Har bir yerda aqli.
Biz aqliy haqida
Ma'nosi shu.
Oxirgisida
ma'noviy
oxirgisida proverb bormi? Handsome. Har bir yerda aqli. Ma'nosi bormi?
husn ijod masalan bu yerda hozir har bitta maqolni olib o'zbek tilida tarjima qilsangiz u boshqa ma'noni keltirib chiqarish mumkin-da.
O'zbeklarda aqli degan ma'no.
Don't judge book by its coverga moslab o'zi agar chiroyli xulqu, lekin odobi chiroyli. Ana bu manimcha sizga anaqa bo'lishi mumkin sizni savolingizga.
O'zi chiroyli ko'rinsa ham ichi chiroyli emas.
Yo'q, nabaron o'zi xulq bo'lsa, lekin odobi chiroyli. Don't judge.
Bitta narsani aytmoqchi.
Chiroyli bo'lsa ichi.
Oppozitsiya shunday. O'zi chiroyli bo'lishi mumkin, lekin odobi xulqi chiroyli emas. Yoki teskari, o'zi chiroyli emas,
Odobi chiroyli.
Bitta nimani beryapti-da.
Empty vessels make the most noble juda zo'r keladi ko'p holatda. To'g'ri, birinchi paytda qaradimi o'sha? Bilimsiz, bosh uchish, bozor. Yaxshi, manda boshqa savol yo'q.
Any questions? No questions? Okay. If you don't have any questions, thank you, Dilorahman. So time to reviewers for reviewing the dissertation. The first reviewer is the Father and the second one is Naskar.
Dissertatsiya ishlarining ustida çalışmalar juda ham ko'p edi. Ancha ishlardik talabamiz bilan, kamchiliklari juda ham ko'p edi. Faqat men balki kafedramizni bir qator ustozlari ham masalan Matiba Axloqni ham ishlarini qayta-qayta ko'rib, kamchiliklarni aytib, tuzattirib, oxirida mana shu shaklda keldi dissertatsiyalari. Juda ham ko'p mehnat qildik o'sha dissertatsiyalarni.
Ko'rinib turibdi, chunki agar ishlanmaganda bunchalik nimalar, tahlillar chiqmas edi. Faqat bu kishi chiqarib berolmayapti o'sha narsani.
Xuddi shunday, afsuski.
Endi yutuqlarni ko'rsatganmiz, taqrizda bir qator yutuqlarni aytib o'tganmiz yuqorida va bular bilan parallel ravishda, tabiiy ravishda kamchiliklar ham kuzatiladi. Ushbu kamchiliklar garchi tadbirning umumiy saviyasiga putur yetkazmasa-da, kuzatishni va e'tibordan chetda qoldirmaslikni talab qiladi. Ushbu kamchiliklarni sanab o'tganmiz. Demak, iqtibosliklardagi rasmiylashtirishda kamchiliklar haligacha mavjud. Ayrim sahifalarda ba'zi texnik va imloviy kamchiliklar ham ko'zda tashlanib turadi. Osiyo xalqaro universiteti 701-1901 xorijiy til va adabiyoti, ingliz tili va adabiyoti mutaxassisligi ikkinchi bosqich magistranti Husenova Dildora Xorijiy qizining o'z mutaxassisligi bo'yicha magistr akademik darajasini olish uchun yozilgan dissertatsiyasi mustaqil ravishda olib borilgan. Yakunlangan ilmiy ish bo'lib, magistr akademik darajasini olish uchun qo'yilgan dissertatsiya talablarining barchasiga to'liq mos keladi. Muallif esa magistr akademik darajasini olish uchun loyiq hisoblanadi. Dissertatsiyani ijobiy baholayman va muhimlarga tavsiya etaman. Osiyo xalqaro universiteti dotsenti Zumradxonova Tafarova. Ijozatlaringiz bilan tashqi taqrizni ham o'qib eshittirsam. Rahmat. Osiyo xalqaro universiteti ijtimoiy fanlar va texnika fakulteti 701-1901 xorijiy til va adabiyot, ingliz tili va adabiyoti mutaxassisligi magistranti Husenova Dildora Xorijiy qizining magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga taqriz. Ushbu taqrizda ham ishning ancha yutuqlari aytib eshittirilgan ekan va shu bilan bir qatorda ayrim kamchiliklari ham uchrashi to'g'risida yozilgan. Demak, birinchisi, ayrim bo'limlarda nazariy ma'lumotlar hajmi katta bo'lgani sababli muallifning individual tahliliy fikrlari qisqarib kiritilgan. Ikkinchisi, ba'zi o'rinlarda grammatik va uslubiy xatolar uchraydi. Ayrim maqolalar tahlilida misollar soni ko'proq bo'lganda tadqiqotning amaliy ahamiyati yanada oshkor edi. Uchinchisi, tadqiqot natijalarini umumlashtiruvchi jadval yoki diagrammalar kiritilganda ishning ilmiy samaradorligi kuchaygan bo'lar edi deb fikr bildirdilar tashqi tahlilchimiz Asqarova Shukurova. Biroq ushbu kamchiliklar ishning umumiy ilmiy qiymatiga jiddiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi. Xulosa o'rnida aytish mumkinki, Husenova Dildora Xorijiy qizining magistr dissertatsiyasi mustaqil bajarilgan, dolzarb mavzuga bag'ishlangan va magistrlik dissertatsiyalariga qo'yiladigan talablarga mos ilmiy tadqiqot hisoblanadi. Magistrant magistr akademik darajasini olishga munosibdir. Buxoro davlat universiteti xorijiy tillar fakulteti ingliz tilshunosligi kafedrasi dotsenti Asqarova Shukurova, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori PhD. Rahmat e'tiborlaringiz uchun.
So, Dildora, your responses to your reviewers.
For your draft papers.
Thank you. So, next presenter is Xorijiy. The topic of dissertation, the description of social problems in Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. So, scientific supervisor and reviewers Sadullah Makibakorovna and Kasimova. 7 minutes of presentation.
Good morning, dear teachers. Today I would like to present my research work named Description of Social Problems in Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Let me move to practical part of the dissertation. The main scientific knowledge of the dissertation is giving more pay attention to the women's side, women violation, women rights violation as an example of Nancy. Nancy is one of the most complex and important characters of the novel. She was drawn into Fiji's gangs, criminal gangs as a child with no family, no protection, and no institutional support. And she is the partner of Bill Sachs, a violent man. Violent man who controls and abuses her. She cannot live because poverty and fear leaves her nowhere to go, and yet despite all of this, she retains more moral feeling. She risks her life to protect all of us, but no one shows compassion to her. As a scholar, Kathleen Tillotson said, Nancy is a complex figure who embodies both victimhood and moral strength. The duality Victorian society refused to acknowledge. And through Nancy, Dickens exposes four specific violations of women's rights: right to safety, right to identity, right to freedom, and right to justice. And Nancy's story is a four key moments. Each one is violation of specific rights. First one is she is trapped from childhood, like I said, without family, no protection, no choice, and society created her situation. She did not choose it. Second one is she's a victim of domestic violence. Sykes beats and dominates her throughout the novel. She cannot escape. Victorian laws offers her nothing. Third one is moral courage is silenced. She secretly helps Oliver, risking her life, but when she asks for help, she first must prove her virtue. A woman on the margins must earn the right to be protected. And this double standard is one of the Dickens' more strongest criticism. Fourth one is she died without justice. Sykes murders her, and because of her social position, society treats this as less shocking. And Dickens wants to show as an example of Nancy in the Victorian society, all of the women's their life less value. And the dissertation introduced the concept of forced loneliness. The Nancy is its clearest example. Nancy is not lonely because she's surrounded by the people, but she is isolated by poverty, by stigma, by economic dependence, and she cannot build real relationship.
Nargiza, it's kind of like describing the plot of the work. Can you please tell us what you done?
I highlighted these poems, women poems.
Okay, now please, you have got some excerpt from the novel,
Yes.
and then you have got your analysis of the novel. We were waiting for this, please.
So concept of the forced loneliness, we can see from the book the example of Nancy. I'm chained to my old life. I lose and hate it now, but I cannot live it. I must go back, I must. And another also example, she repeated it. Its repetition is not accidental. Dickens wants us to understand this is not weakness, this is the prison built by society. And next one is showing the society silent to the Nancy's condition. In the book, we can see this piece. The housebreaker realized her grasp and seizing her by the throat, dragged her into the middle of the room and looking once fiercely around, deals her with blow with the club, which felled her to the ground. This is the Bill Sykes did with Nancy, and it described domestic violence, and this is crime. And Victorian society, its law, its institution, its community does nothing with it. And also, dissertation argues this silence is not accidental. It reflects legal and social system that recognized abused women. In the Victorian England, women like Nancy, poor, associated with crime, were seen have their life has lesser rights, lesser value, and lesser humanity. And this is institutional fallacy that Dickens exposed, and this is what my research provides with historical analysis.
Is it? Okay.
Okay, time for answers, for questions and answers, please.
Please remind us what the topic was. The
Social
Description of social problems.
You've got the question. You've tried to describe the social problems with extracts from the novel. First, tell what the novelty is, and tell the use of this novelty in real life. What's the purpose of studying this one? And does it depict the existing social problems in the United States? Britain and British social problems, please.
Only the novelty of the dissertation is giving more pay attention to the women's rights violation, as example of the Nazi. And these problems are, we can see in the Victorian society, in the Victorian Britain.
And if we compare these social problems existing in Victorian society in this novel, and if we compare it with today's society, can we apply the same problems, or what is changed?
I guess we cannot apply the same problems because nowadays women's rights are more protected than in Victorian British. Not only in Britain but around the world. Now we cannot come across with this kind of problems.
So there is no gender inequality.
We have got gender inequality today also, but not as a Victorian England.
Do we have gender inequality now?
Yes.
Really? Yes, priorities are given to female, to women, because in every aspect.
Anyway, good families.
In families, yes.
Priorities given to men,
No,
not to
I mean
women.
society, not family. In family,
society,
yes.
yes.
But
We
in
have
the
gender
society,
equality now.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Women are too tired. Yes.
nowadays
Okay,
also,
They are just giving chances to women.
No, I don't care. I'm just asking her opinion. I've already graduated. That's not a problem. Contract with not a borma. Krishka imtiyoz borma. Borma gender inequality. Or nabarot etti. Gender inequality. Gender inequality degandan keyin prioritet berilgan. O'zi masalan bizani kafedrada masalan 8 kishi ishlasa, qayergadir qishloqqa borib nimadir qilish kerak bo'lsa, 38 tadan 35 tasi ayol kishi, 3 tasi erkak, ham erkak kishiga qarab
Bizlarni qadriyatlarimizdan
Yo'qda bu o'zbeklarni mentaliteti.
Albatta, dissertatsiyaga taalluqli emas, masifizm o'qiydi. Thank you. Very interesting.
Questions, please?
I have a small question. What literary techniques are used to depict social injustice?
in the novel we can see some satire, irony. in order to show their inequality. For example, in this example also we can see satire. For example, housebreaker dragged her into the middle of them and at the end blows with the club which fell at her to the ground. We can see some literary device.
Thank you. No questions? So, viewers, thank you, Nargisa. You may take a seat. So, Matibatu, this is your turn to
Taqrizda habib bo'yicha erishilgan yutuqlar birma-bir aytib o'tilgan, ammo shu bilan birga ba'zi kamchiliklarni qayd etish lozim. Jumladan, ba'zi o'rinlarda fikr va tahlillarning takrorlanishi kuzatiladi. Ayrim hollarda tafsiliy bayon, tahliliy yondashuvdan ustunroq ko'rinadi. Matnni ayrim joylarda ixchamlashtirish maqsadga muvofiq bo'ladi. Ba'zi original nazariy tushunchalarning metodologik asoslari yanada aniqroq ilmiy manbalar bilan mustahkamlanishi tavsiya etiladi. Ayrim paragraflarda iqtibosliklar hajmi ortiqcha bo'lib, mualliflik tahlili nisbatan qisqaroq bo'lgan. Biroq yuqoridagi kamchiliklar tadqiqotning umumiy ilmiy saviyasiga jiddiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, Charles Dickensning olimlik test asarida ijtimoiy muammolar tavsifi mavzusidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasi magistrlik ilmiy tadqiqot kuchlariga qo'yilgan talablar darajasida bajarilgan bo'lib, muallif magistr akademik darajasini olishga munosib deb hisoblanadi. Taqrizni yozdim. Keyingi taqriz, demak, taqrizchi ilmiy ishning yutuqlarini sanab o'tganlar va shu bilan birga tadqiqotlar tanishish jarayonida ko'zga tashlangan bir qator mulohazalarni bildirganlar. Jumladan, tadqiqotda gender tengsizligi masalasi ilmiy yangilik sifatida ko'rsatilgan bo'lsa-da, ushbu konsepsiyaning nazariy metodologik asoslari ham ayrim joylarda yanada chuqurroq ilmiy manbalar bilan mustahkamlanish maqsadiga muvofiq. Birinchi bobda Industrial Revolution va Victorian Society haqidagi umumiy tarixiy ma'lumotlar hajman keng berilganligi sabab ayrim o'rinlarda asosiy tadqiqot obyektidan chekinish holati kuzatiladi. Va ayrim paragraflarda tafsiliy bayon tahliliy yondashuvdan ustun kelib, muallifning individual ilmiy xulosalarini nisbatan qisqaroq ifodalagan. Qayd etilgan mulohazalar dissertatsiyaning umumiy mazmuni va ilmiy qiymatiga jiddiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi, biroq dissertatsiyaning ilmiyligini oshirishga xizmat qiladi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, demak, mutaxassislik shifri asosida bajarilgan mazkur magistrlik dissertatsiyasi yakunlangan. Uning muallifi Sharif va Nargiz markazi magistr akademik darajasini olishga loyiq deb hisoblanadi. Ra'no Rahmatullayeva Qasimova, Buxoro davlat universiteti Ingliz adabiyoti va tarjimonchilik kafedrasi professori T.S. Ahmad.
So, Nargiza, your responses to the viewers, to the commission.
Thank you for coming to your time, feedbacks. I would like to take consideration of the suggestion.
Thank you. So, next presenter is Rayhon Fakhriddin Latifova. The topic of the dissertation is the portrayal of the protagonist in Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Scientific supervisor is Kubalana Rosatorna, and reviewers are Zadar Moldivregin and Nazaro Gulafilmana. So, Rayhon, you have only 7 minutes to present the main contribution.
So, thank you. So my theme is the portrayal of the protagonist in Jane by Charlotte Bronte. So there are the 3 chapters included, and mostly we pay attention to our third practical part of our work that I changed from, that you gave some suggestions for pre-defense of our work. That's why we, with our teacher, changed, altered some chapters and plans as well. That artistic means of portraying the protagonist in order to reveal her inner condition. And narrative techniques, we use it and approach in order to reveal the portrayal of the Jane Eyre, and the 3.2nd chapter is Jane Eyre as a strong female protagonist. So we can know that the object and subject, so we can say the object is the work itself, the Jane Eyre itself, the work, and the subject can be to analyze, to reveal the protagonist, Jane Eyre. So next is about some, as we say about the scientific novelty of the research work, in this one, in order to reveal the inner side of the Jane Eyre fully analyzed in this work. Moreover, by synthesizing narratological, socio-historical, and feminist methodologies, this research offers a fresh and systematic analysis of Bronte and how constructs female agency. And we use a during kind of approach in order to analyze it. And there, we pay attention to some approaches. First one is the feminist approaches, like Jane in this approach is independent woman, that we can pay attention to the gender inequality rights and Jane's struggle for freedom, education, and self-respect. For instance, in one sentence we can say that after Rochester tease about John, which is leaving Jane, so she says that, do you see, because I am poor, obscure, or plain, and little, I am soulless and heartless. So in these sentences we can say that she has self-confidence for conveying, for expressing her ideas towards the Rochester. So in this case we can say that she is the feminist, that she always tries to defend herself and tries to express her own opinions. And also for the next example, precise example, if I were to marry you, you would claim me, not to love me, but to sacrifice me. Do you think that I receive a ring from you and endure the mockery of your life? So in this case also we can see that she is also defending herself, that not accepting the mockery or any kind of some harshness, but she defends herself. So for the next approach we can say character analysis approach. It's the second one. It means that we can say focusing on Jane's personality and development from the childhood to the growing to the adulthood. Like example, we can say that I care for myself. The more solitary, the more friendless, the more unsustained I am, the more will I respect myself. I will keep the law given by God. The laws and principles are not for the time that they are observed, but for all time. So in this case, that Jane has achieved the psychological synthesis. That she can express everything truly and by self-confidence. And next analysis is also psychological approach. In this case, we can say about the childhood trauma and its effects, and also emotional conflicts and identity formation and self-discovery. And Jane's relationships with other characters are also analyzed. For instance, there are some themes also given. The first one is repression, expression, childhood trauma, the double, and dreams as unconscious truths and psychological independence. And the last one is repression and madness. And if we take some examples for this approach, before her wedding, Jane dreams. For the book, for the novel, we can see different kind of dreams that has its own impact, that meaning also. For instance, I dreamed that I lay in the red room at Gateshead, and that a woman with black hair and white face appeared. In this example, her mind is warning about the danger. If she marries, she thinks that some dangers which is coming, and dream returns to the red room trauma that suggests she's about to repeat childhood patterns. And also there are second one example when Jane dreams of carrying a crying child, so that she cannot choose. So I saw that the child was crying. I couldn't get near it. It wailed the more. If we analyze in psychological one, Jane's inner emotion is in trauma, that she cannot choose the child. So, and she has some fear or some inability to nurture. So next one is the passionate desire.
I will be your mistress. I don't care about myself. Wants to say with Rochester despite everything. So there, I will keep the law given by God, insist on moral principle and self-respect. At the end, it means that she achieved the inner freedom. So she can have self-respect towards herself. And next approach is Marxist approach. So in this case, we can say about the examine class differences like social inequality as well. And for instance, some example, the aristocratic Blanche Igran and her mother openly despised governesses. Like Blanche declares that I have endured the antipathy of the whole tribe of governesses. They are nuisances. I was glad when I have finally dismissed it by two last. So in this case, she thinks that first of all, it emphasized the Victorian era itself. Even so, in this example, Blanche has some hierarchy, but
your time is up. Please finish.
okay.
Round up.
Then that's all.
Round up.
There also Williams-Roman approach. We have so described there some things concerning the adulthood, some journey of self-discovery. Also, we just pay attention to it with some examples. Besides it, so I had some examples by different kind of methods and paying attention to the third chapter also by different kind of narrative techniques also I have.
So this will be the first question.
Mm.
So what
Okay.
narrative techniques does author use in order to depict the character Jane Eyre, the character of Jane Eyre?
Okay, thank you for question. First of all, it's the first person retrospective narration. It's also called the dual voice. The novel.
Do you have an example here in your PPT?
Yes.
Can you demonstrate it?
From.
Do you have? This
Yes, yes, also yes. For instance, in chapter 4, reflecting the childhood at Gateshead, Jane states that I was at this court in Gateshead Hall. I was like nobody there. I had nothing in harmony with Mrs. Reed or her children. Or her chosen vessels. In this case, she so expressed the growth into self-aware. So, but even though they just hate it. So in this case, she uses the first person retrospective narration, and also second one is direct address to the reader. At the conclusion of the novel, we can see that she subtly says the reader, I married him. So there. I married rather than we can use passive we were married. So in this case we can know that she had autonomy in the relationship. Just she is the subject of her own life. And also in example second, do you think because I'm poor, obscure, plain and little, as I mentioned in the approach also, she directly says the tries to convey their opinion, spiritual and by achieving the emotional equality in this example. And third technique is interior monologue and psychological realism. So in this case also, so monologue, if I say I care for myself, the more solitary, the more friendless, the more unsustained I will respect myself. In this case, the monologue is told by herself, and she also has a triumph over the over romantic passion. That means that she has a great self-respect towards herself. And next, pathetic fallacy and Gothic symbolism are used in the work. That it means that pathetic fallacy is the psychological state of the person, of the protagonist, like Jane Eyre. That example we can say, young Jane is locked in the room where her uncle died. The room is described with chill, silent, and solemn imagery, and Jane sees a strange little figure in the mirror, which she perceives as a ghost. That it means that red room symbolizes Jane's trapped, passionate, and passionate state. That she sometimes had a hallucination. So even though she didn't sleep by the psychological fracture, and cruelty of the Reeds at the time. I mean, her uncle, after her uncle died. So, by the urging of the sister-in-law and the cousin.
Okay, thank you. Another question is connected with the educational system. In the subject of your work, you mentioned that, let me find this part. On page 5, you mentioned that the subject of the research consists of analyzing the English education system along with the protagonist Jenny, which depicted in the novel. So this is the second question. How do you connect the education system with the topic which is given here, the portrayal of the protagonist Jenny? This is the second question. And the third question is connected with the comparative analysis. Where did you apply comparative analysis in the research work?
Okay.
In which part of the research did you use? If you used, please show us.
Okay. So, first of all, I have mentioned about the educational system because it's also somehow a crucial, a significant part of in the Victorian era. So there, we just analyzed the educational sphere that was hard at the time by paying attention to the study and also the people who are around her and also the friends. Even though there is some harshness or some, hardships, she can have self-respect and she has self-confidence toward studying there. And at the end, also she has that independent school that she worked at also. After studying in the Lowood Institute, Lowood School, she paid attention, not doing some kind of harsh and paying attention to the study of the people around her. And you said the comparative analysis, in order to be deeply analyzed, I somehow mentioned about the comparative analysis of the Charlotte Bronte's other works like Violet Shirley, 3 works, because at the time we should pay attention to the feminism approach, like three women from the village and Shirley and Jane herself that I compared there. But teacher, it was not fully analyzed, but I depicted in my dissertation work, not in the slide.
Thank you. Questions, please?
Understandable.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Raikon. Time is for reviewing the dissertation. The first reviewer is the not reviewing. So, what is the dissertation?
Assalomu alaykum, yana bir bor. O'sha Xalqaro universitet xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi 701/04/01 xorijiy til va adabiyoti, ingliz tili va adabiyoti yo'nalishi 2-bosqich magistrantlarga va Rayhon Faxriddinning magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga ichki tahrir ruxsatlaringiz bilan asosiy qismga o'tsam. Demak, shu bilan birga dissertatsiyada ayrim kamchiliklar ham mavjud. Jumladan, ba'zi nazariy masalalar yanada qisqa va aniqroq bayon etilishi, ayrim boblarda tahlil yanada ixchamlashtirilishi mumkin edi. Shuningdek, ayrim joylarda misollar sonini ko'paytirish ishning ilmiy qiymatini yanada oshirgan bo'lar edi. Biroq ushbu kamchiliklar ishning umumiy ilmiy saviyasiga jiddiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi. Dissertatsiyada foydalangan adabiyotlar yetarli darajada keng qamrovli bo'lib, mahalliy va xorijiy ilmiy manbalarni o'z ichiga oladi. Adabiyotlar tizimli ravishda guruhlangan va belgilangan talablarga muvofiq rasmiylashtirilgan. Yuqoridagilarga asosan Latif va Rayhon Faxriddinovaning magistrlik dissertatsiyasi 701-109 xorijiy til va adabiyoti yo'nalish talablariga to'liq javob beradi. U mustaqil ilmiy tadqiqot mahsuli sifatida tayyorlangan, ilmiy yangilikka ega, metodik jihatdan asoslangan va amaliyotga qo'llanilishi mumkin. Dissertatsiya Osiyo Xalqaro universiteti magistrlik dissertatsiyalarini himoya qilish kengashiga taqdim etilishini va muallifga magistr ilmiy darajasini berishni tavsiya qilaman. Osiyo Xalqaro universiteti xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar filologiya fakulteti filologiya fanlari doktori professor Gadoyev Mavluda Ibragimova. Keyingi taqrizni so'z o'qib eshittirsam, tashqi taqriz. Osiyo Xalqaro universiteti xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi 701-109 xorijiy til va adabiyoti ingliz tili va adabiyoti yo'nalishi ikinchi bosqich magistranti Latifa Rayhon Faxriddinovaning magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga tashqi taqrizda tadqiqotda ba'zi nazariy tushunchalar, masalan, moral avtonomiya va narrativ subyektivlik bo'yicha terminologik izchillikni yanada mustahkamlash maqsadga muvofiq bo'lar edi. Shuningdek, 3-bobda keltirilgan badiiy iqtiboslarning kontekstual sharhi qisqartirilib, tahlil qismini yanada ixchamlashtirish ishning ilmiy izchilligini oshirgan bo'lar edi. Ushbu jihatlar ishning umumiy ilmiy qiymatiga salbiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi va kelgusi nashrlar yoki ilmiy chiqishlar jarayonida hisobga olinishi mumkin. Yuqoridagi tahlillarga asosan Latif va Rayhon Faxriddinovaning magistrlik dissertatsiyasi mustaqil ilmiy tadqiqot talablariga javob beradi. Ishda muallifning nazariy bilimlari, matn bilan ishlash ko'nikmalari, tahliliy fikrlash qo'llari va xorijiy manbalar bilan ishlash darajasi yuqori baholanadi. Dissertatsiya Osiyo Xalqaro universiteti magistrlik dissertatsiyalarini himoya qilish kengashiga taqdim etilishini va muallifga magistrlik ilmiy darajasini berishni tavsiya etaman. Taqrizchi Buxoro davlat universiteti ingliz adabiyotshunoslik va tarjimashunoslik kafedrasi dotsenti Nazarova. E'tiborlaringiz uchun rahmat.
Your responses to yours.
So thank you for teachers that will give us a precious time for us. So I will keep my working on my study. That I also want to be a member of the university in the near future. That I will take you also your suggestion into consideration. Thank you for the teachers, great, brilliant teachers that we studied at the Asia International University. And also I am so grateful that we also gained some knowledge from the Bukhara State University that you taught us during our studying. So I'm so happy. Thank you.
Kadr kimga bo'lyapsan? Osiyo Xalqaro universiteti, Buxoro davlat universitetiga qaysi universitetga kadr bo'lyapsiz? Bo'lishni rejalashtiryapsiz?
Asia.
Asia.
Thank you.
Bu olganchami?
No.
Thank you. So next presenter is Abdullah Rabikajo Alisherimnan. The topic of the dissertation teaching images in the professor by Charlotte Bronte. Scientific supervisors Kurban Manadla Rozakana and reviewers are Jalil Wazani Gorobitana and Jalil Jalilona. Rabikajo Alisherimnan, you have 7 minutes of present.
First of all, good afternoon, dear professor teachers. Our theme is Teaching Images in Professor novel by Charlotte Bronte. Why we choose this novel? Because of its first novel of Charlotte Bronte and the first earliest novel in Victorian era. And first of all, we choose this theme because I'm interested in literature, and we consist these chapters, first, second, and third. First chapter education and literature in Victorian age and Victorian education society. And the next one, the topic of teacher images, 19th century English literature. And the second chapter, we focus on the Charlotte Bronte's earliest life and contribution to develop English literature. And so the professor novel is the debut of the authors, and the last one is practical part. In the practical part, we focus on protagonist William Crimsworth. William Crimsworth is the protagonist of the novel, and the male teacher, and we focus on his life. And the last one, we the description of female teachers in Victoria, the professor by Charlotte Bronte in Victorian age. And the aim of the research work analyze the representation of the teacher images in Charlotte Bronte.
Show this analysis.
Analysis. Okay. The third and yes. In the second and third chapter, we analyze the novel, and we choose for methodological analysis, first of all, comparative and historical and textual analysis. The first one on the discipline and self-control teacher images. And as William Crimsworth said that I was not a passive character. I was not molded by circumstance, and I molded them. He said that he liked discipline in the classroom atmosphere, and combined ethical ethical and teachable ethicals, and combine the knowledge. And the next one is the reflect of Victorian ideal of the teacher as a figure of moral discipline and personal authority on education and self-formation. And experience is a STEAM teacher, but it teaches best. It also teaches the protagonist William Crimsworth, and on the intellectual independence, it is psychological analysis. It is I sought only to live what I believed, and this line illustrates moral autonomy, and that is Bronte's associated with teaching on board Francis Henry as a woman teacher. We know at the time Victorian era had more gender inequality, mainly focused on male characters and male knowledge. And the third chapter, William Crimsworth is a central protagonist, and his education is classical and respectable, and yet limited social value. And William understands the knowledge has value only when it leads to personal freedom. Because of he orphaned boy, and he worked as a clerk, and his brother, and this situation is simultaneous, and he choose this way, only knowledge value to a way of freedom. And the next, yes, and the professional William first work on the brother Edward, and he said he moved to Belgium marks a turning point. He believes that a new country offers the responsibility and new identities that he built. And as a teacher, William developed a strict personal identity, and he believes that a classroom must be ruled. Why? By order and by the rules, and in a rational contrast. And he doesn't teach to entertain, but insists that teaching isn't about pleasure and pleasing students, but about shaping their minds. And his methods reflect discipline and intellectual seriousness. William is also highly critical of social inequality, and he observes that merits is often ignored by privileged dominant society. And we also focused female teachers. First of all, Madame Ruther and Francis Henry. Yes, Francis Henry. We focused because of only one male teachers we have. It is William Crimsworth and others, Francis Henry and Madame Ruther. Because of the third point too, we choose female teacher images. And the conclusion part is the research is important for future because of its highlighted enduring value teacher in society and the teacher images, the profession novel.
What results did you gain during your research?
Okay. First of all, we choose this one because in Victorian era focus on only male teachers, and then both focus on. And this from this novel we critical analyze and and he combines psychological and teacher ethical combine that.
And as a result,
As
the novelty of your research paper?
Novelty of the research paper till the time only researcher analyze pedagogical part, but at the time we analyze both pedagogical and literary, historical analysis combined.
Okay, I have a question to you. Can we apply the principles of teaching which is portrayed in Charlotte Bronte's work, The Professor? Can we apply these principles?
Principles.
In nowadays educational system?
Nowadays,
What principles does she mention? I mean, Charlotte Bronte in her novel. And can we apply the same principles nowadays in our educational system?
yes. Yes, at the time, only focuses male teaching, but at the time,
What do you mean by male teaching?
male boys, only boys education, and social inequality. For example, rich people educate highly qualified schools, and poor only workers and worker. But at the time, both social and moral equality equal, and social and at the time richer people give feedback positive, and at the time in the school atmosphere it is educational both, and educational and psychological both important.
Okay, thank you. Questions, please?
I got one question. First, before starting with the question, I want to clarify. Have you changed all the close readings with the real ones? Because some of them were fabricated in the initial stage of the defense.
Yes.
You have?
Yes.
Okay. Then the question comes.
Mhm.
Tell me, not me, tell us the specific characteristic features of female teacher and male teacher, and what are the differences and similarities, please?
At the time or in Victorian era?
Özbekçe time. Özbekçe time sağ ol.
Yes.
specific characteristic features of being male teacher and female teacher, and what are the differences and similarities?
At the time, it was known as male teacher characters, and it is moral integrity and
So, male teacher characteristic features, integrity, what else?
it is male teachers, especially
Bo'lmi shunaqa narsa ishimizda.
compare this.
Erkak o'qituvchi bilan ayol o'qituvchi shkalasi bormi? Farqi, o'xshashligi, xarakteristikasi, spesifikasi bilmagan. Siz maqsad qilib qo'yganmisizmi shu narsani o'rganishni?
Yes, the
Erkak bilan ayol o'qituvchini farqi va o'xshashliklarini o'rganishni maqsad qilib qo'yganmisiz? Unaqa narsa yo'q. Nimaga bu savolni beryapman? Nima aloqasi bor sizni ishim? Nimaga aytmaysiz? Mani ishimga aloqasi yo'q bu narsani deb.
yo'q, endi lekin female and
Qilish niyatingiz borligini hammamiz sezib turibmiz. Hech shu savolni berdim.
Lekin hozirgi kunda bu
ishda yo'q, hozir komparativ berilmagan.
Ishda agar komparativ berilmagan bo'lsa, nima uchun nutqingizda har zamon male teacher, female teacher deb o'tiribsiz? Farqi bor-da demak.
Fine. Fakat only we give examples. William Words and Penny
Mine compare like male teacher, female teacher, characteristic features. How characteristic features of female and male teachers of the novel are described by Charlotte Bronte.
because of the at the time aslidagi gender inequality bo'lgani uchun
Qanday tasvirlangan xarakteristik nimasi bo'lishga xususiyat bo'lishi kerak-ku. Male teacher nimalariga asosan male teacher, nimalarga asosan film faqat jan nimasiga qarab olmaganda siz u ayol erkakligi uchun ajratmagandirsiz. Bizga xos xususiyati bo'lishi kerak-ku bor.
asosan ayol o'qituvchilarda u paytda uncha fokus qilmagan and nima qilmagan. Asosan teacher imagesda erkaklar berilgan.
Unda nima uchun female teacherni olib chiqyapsiz?
Female teacherni chiqqan sababi asosiy uni nimasi Francis Henry shuncha reprezentant bo'lgani uchun shuni berilgan. Madam Reuter and Francis Henry. So it gives this.
Bu narsa ayollar qo'yishingiz kerak bo'ladi. Chunki female male dedingizmi uni xarakteristik nimalarni berish, ya'ni unaqa xususiyatlarni berish kerak bo'ladi. The aim of the research work is to analyze the representation of teacher images. So it means both female and male teachers, yeah?
Yes. But male teachers Queen's Words borda. Boshqa male teacherlar yo'q.
Lekin borligini tushundik, bizga uni tushunish kerak emas, tushundik. Faqat uni xarakter xususiyati nimadan iborat? Va ayol o'qituvchilarning xarakter xususiyati nimadan iborat va ular o'qituvchilikda mana shu xarakter xususiyatdan kelib chiqib qanday dars beradi?
Chunki uchinchi blogingizda ham female teacher deb nomlagansiz. Demak, qanaqadir xususiyatni topgansiz.
Ko'rsatilgan bo'lishi kerak-da.
Faqat William Queen's Word strict and professional nimada ta'limda qattiqqo'llik va ta'lim bilan ethical o'zini madaniy nimalarni qo'shilgan.
Okay, one more question. That was connected with only I clarified the question of rubrics I flagged, and this one is my own question. So I'm interested in stylistic meanings. What stylistic meanings did the author use in order to represent teacher images?
Teacher images. Character analysis.
Stylistic meanings.
Yes.
What stylistic means?
Character analysis and character analysis, historical analysis we choose. For example, character analysis, stylistic. Criminal's words, educated is classical and respectable. Knowledge has value on the way to independence. It is
Stylistic means I'm asking.
stylistic.
What stylistic means did you use?
Psychology.
Psychology? What stylistic means?
Stylistic.
For structure.
Textual. Yeah, it's senses.
So in your tasks, you mentioned that you will analyze a narrative and stylistic means used in presenting teacher images. So if this task is given here in your dissertation, so you have to analyze stylistic means as well. But in this case, we cannot see any stylistic means here.
Yes, I don't know this is.
But why to include then this point into tasks?
Narrative analysis.
If you don't have any analysis of expressive means, why do you include it into your tasks?
We add the narrative stylistic means because we describe the characters because of who is Edward, who is William, who is Madame Rost and Xorijiy. We add the
I have got one question, if you allow me. So, Charlotte Bronte, she is not only famous as professor, but also Jane Eyre, right? So Jane Eyre is considered as a female educator. So could you please compare these two characters, these two protagonists, William Crimsworth and Jane Eyre, and tell us so what differences or similarities as an educators you can make about them, like conclusion about them. And tell us please also, this is my first question, second question about narration. So William Crimsworth and Jane Eyre. So what narrative technique Charlotte Bronte she used in her novels? Was it like first person narration or third person narration?
In Charlotte Bronte also writes Jane Eyre. Special first protagonist is Jane Eyre. It's a male teacher character, and so Lilith Lucy has Lilith has Lucy Snowy, and Jane Eyre. It's also female teacher characters, but it's characters. And in this novel, William Crimsworth, it is male teacher characters. It is also similar each one because of also orphanage and loneliness, and it's choose life path from knowledge. He gives the knowledge and then teaches skills, and it is a main similarity. And he narrations stylistic
narration techniques.
Yes, narration technique use it first person narration.
In all these three words, Villette, Jane Eyre, and Professor?
No, especially William Crimsworth, he used first person narration.
The novel is used. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. No more questions? Okay. Thank you, Vika John and Sharona. Now, time for the dissertation. The first review is Jelly and the second one is Jelly. Then for Udina, please just read the comments.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Osiyo Xalqaro Universiteti Ijtimoiy fanlar va texnika fakulteti Xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi 71991 Xorijiy til va adabiyot ingliz tili mutaxassisligi magistranti Abdullayeva Bikajon Alisherovnaning magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga ichki taqriz. Magistrlik dissertatsiyasida o'rganish jarayonida quyidagi tavsiyaviy xarakterdagi kamchiliklar aniqlandi. Annotatsiyaning inglizcha qismida tadqiqot natijalari mavzuga mos kelmaydigan tarzda berilgan, xususan free writing helps students generate ideas, mazmundagi jumlalar, the professor romandagi o'qituvchi obrazini mavzusidagi aloqador emas. Bu qism boshqa ish matnidan qolib ketgan bo'lishi mumkin va albatta qayta tahrif qilinishi lozim. Tadqiqot obyekti va predmeti ayrim o'rinlarda aniq chegaralanmagan. Obyekt sifatida, ya'ni Charlotte Brantling professor romani, predmet sifatida esa ushbu romanning o'qituvchi obrazning badiiy, axloqiy, pedagogik va gender xususiyatlari alohida ko'rsatilsa, ilmiy apparat yanada ravshan bo'lar edi. Keyingisi boblar ichida ayrim mavzudan chetga chiqish holatlari uchraydi. Xususan, ikkinchi bobda professor romanining morfologik, pragmatik va semantik tahliliga oid keng izohlar berilgan, biroq bu yo'nalish dissertatsiyaning asosiy mavzusi o'qituvchi obrazlar tahlili bilan yetarlicha uzviy bog'lanmagan. Mazkur qismlar qisqartirilib, bevosita obraz tahlili shakliga keltirilishi lozim. Dissertatsiya matnida takroriy bayonlar ko'p. Viktoriya davri ta'limi, ayol o'qituvchilar mavqei, governance obrazi, ijtimoiy cherkovlar va o'qituvchining axloqiy mas'uliyati haqidagi fikrlar bir necha boblarda mazmunan deyarli bir xil shaklda takrorlangan. Takrorlarni kamaytirib, har bir bobda yangi tahliliy vazifa bajarilishi kerak. Matnda ingliz tili imlosi, uslubi va texnik rasmiylashtirish bilan bog'liq xatolar uchraydi. Masalan, on the rise of manuscript, the object of the research works kabi so'zdagi harflarning aralash yozilishi, tinish belgilaridagi nomuvofiqliklar va sifar lavhalardagi uslubiy tavoffular akademik matn sifatini pasaytiradi. Ish to'liq lingvistik va texnik tahlildan o'tkazilishi zarur. Foydalanilgan adabiyotlar ro'yxatida jiddiy bibliografik tartibsizlik mavjud. Ayrim manbalarda takror berilgan masalalar, masalan, Alexander, Armstrong, Baker, Bronte, Brown kabi manbalar bir necha marta keltirilgan. Ba'zi manbalarda nashr yili, nashriyot sahifasi va maqola ma'lumotlari yagona formatda emas, internet manbalari esa umumiy sayt shaklida berilgan bo'lib, aniq maqola nomi, muallif murojaat sanasi va to'liq havola bilan rasmiylashtirilishi lozim. Ko'rsatilgan kamchiliklar dissertatsiyaning umumiy ilmiy yo'nalishini inkor etmaydi, balki uning nazariy aniqligi, tahliliy ishchiligi, matn sifati va bibliografik rasmiylashtirilishini yanada yaxshilashga xizmat qiladi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, Abdullayeva Bekajon Alisherovnaning magistrlik dissertatsiyasi 701/9 xorijiy til va adabiyoti, ingliz tili mutaxassisligi bo'yicha magistrlik dissertatsiyalarga qo'yiladigan talablarga javob beradi va muallifga magistrlik akademik darajasini berish uchun tavsiya etiladi. Tahsischi Osiyo xalqaro universiteti professori Zargar Borodilina. Ruxsatlar bilan tashqi tahsis o'qib eshittirsam. Rahmat. Demak, tashqi tahsis asosiy qismi dissertatsiyaning muhim jihatlaridan biri shundaki, unda o'qituvchi obrazi faqat adabiy qahramon sifatida emas, balki jamiyat taraqqiyotida xizmat qiluvchi ma'naviy va pedagogik fenomen sifatida ham tadqiq qilingan. Ishning ba'zi kamchiliklari va mulohazalarini qayta ko'rib chiqish lozim. Ishning ayrim o'rinlarida zamonaviy xorijiy tadqiqotchilar qarashlarini yanada kengroq qamrab olish va ularning ushbu mavzuga oid yondashuvlarni ko'proq jalb qilish maqsadga muvofiq bo'lar edi. Dissertatsiyada keltirilgan ayrim nazariy masalalar yuzasidan qiyosiy tahlillarni yanada kengaytirish, yanada o'qituvchi obrazlarning qiyosiy jihatlarini mukammalroq yoritish imkoniyati mavjud. Matnning ba'zi qismlarida uchraydigan uslubiy va texnik xatolarni butunlay bartaraf etish hamda umumiy saviyani yanada mustahkamlashtirish maqsadga muvofiq. Bu kamchiliklar tahrizingiz mazmuniga xulosa qilib aytganda, Bekajon Alisherovnaning The Teacher, Image and the Professor by Charlotte Bronte mavzuidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasi magistrlik dissertatsiyalarga qo'yiladigan talablarga to'liq javob beradi. Tadqiqot mustaqil bajarilgan, ilmiy yangilikka ega hamda nazariy va amaliy ahamiyat kasb etadi. Dissertatsiya ijobiy bahoga loyiq deb hisoblayman va muallif 701/9/01 xorijiy til va adabiyot, ingliz tili va adabiyoti mutaxassisligi bo'yicha magistrlik akademik darajasini berishga tavsiya etaman. Tahqischi, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, dotsent, Xor davlat universiteti ingliz adabiyot shunoslik va tarjimashunoslik kafedrasi dotsenti Jalilova Lola Jalilova. Rahmat.
Bekacan, responses to reviewers, please.
Okay, first of all, I grateful our press teachers and Mr. Janman, Harna, and also thank you for your valuable time and positive and knowledgeable feedbacks. And I take consideration and the further research I focus on these feedbacks. Thank you.
Bekacan deganmi? İsmingiz Bekacan deganmi? Yo, aslida ma'nosi Bekacan deganimi shu? Okay. Next presenter is Adabiyoti Fakhriddin qizi. Topic is psycholinguistic study of emotional words on the example of English and Uzbek languages. Scientific supervisor is
ishlar tayyor emas, ishlarni bizga topshirmaganlar bor.
kiritilmaydimi hozir?
Yo'q, bugun kiritilmaydi.
Kiritilmaydi, yozamiz deb yozdiramiz. Keyingisini qo'lga yurg'iz qo'yma. The topic of dissertation is problems of speech economy and logical coherence in diplomatic relations on the example of English and Uzbek languages. Scientific supervisor Babukala Muhammad Rajapovich, reviewers Jalil Razani and Kumanova Kulnotni Manova. So you have only 7 minutes to present the main aspects of your dissertation.
Good morning, dear respected teachers and members of examination committee. My topic is problems of speech economy and logical coherence in diplomatic relations on the example of English and Uzbek language. In my research paper, there are 3 chapters, and the first chapter is scientific theoretical methodology, and there are 2 plans in this chapter. Study of aspects of diplomatic speech and scientific and theoretical problems of speech.
No need to announce the structure of your paper.
The scientific knowledge of my research works, the linguistic features of speech economy in English and Uzbek.
Can you show us the novelty within your analytical part? Not from the introduction, it's from analytical part, the novelty. No.
Analytical, it means research.
Yes, yes. Practical part. The third chapter, we emphasize the practical analysis of diplomatic speech. In this chapter, speech delivered at the podiums of international organizations, in particular the UN, official statements of heads of state and diplomatic statements were selected as research material. It's known that the effectiveness of diplomatic communication depends not only on the content of information, but also on its concise, clear, and logically consistent presentation. Therefore, in diplomatic discourse, speech economy and logical coherence are manifested as important communication tools. This chapter provides a comparative analysis of the features of manifestation of these phenomena based on examples taken from English and Uzbek speech. In diplomatic relations, translation accuracy and terminological consistency are important issues. Also, it's necessary that the content is not lost or misinterpreted in diplomatic speech. In this table,
We compare analysis of speech economy and logical coherence in Uzbek and English diplomatic discourse. The first column, Uzbek diplomatic speech examples. O'zbekiston Markaziy Osiyoda tinchlik va barqarorlikni ta'minlashga alohida e'tibor qaratmoqda. This speech by our President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, UN General Assembly speech, and this speech and next English example by Barack Obama. We must work together to build a more peaceful world. Both speeches use concise structures. The Uzbek example presents a political aim directly, while the English example uses a short, collective speech. Both demonstrate speech economy and clear logical force. Next example, an Uzbek example, oral fojiasi nafaqat mintaqaviy balki global muammoga aylandi. By our President Shavkat Mirziyoyev in UN speech. And next English example, climate change is the defining issues of our time by Antonio Guterres. Different environmental issues are presented through compressed expressions. Both speakers avoid unnecessary details and create coherence by emphasizing the main problem. Next example, Uzbek example, we can see yoshlarning huquqlarini himoya qilish va imkoniyatlarini kengaytirish muhim vazifadir. And English example, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. The examples show semantic economy. Complex ideas are expressed through short, memorable constructions. Logical coherence is created by linking special problems with solutions. The next example, Afg'onistonda tinchlik o'rnatish mintaqa xavfsizligi uchun muhimdir. By Islom Karimov. The next English example, we can see peace requires dialogue and cooperation. The Uzbek example shows cause-effect relation, while the English example uses a concise definition. Both maintain logical development of ideas. The last example, biz xalqaro hamjamiyat bilan hamkorlikni davom ettiramiz by our President Shavkat Mirziyoyev, and together we can overcome the challenge that face humanity. English example we can see by Joe Biden. Both use inclusive expressions to create solidarity. The messages are brief but persuasive, showing speech economy and coherence. The examples demonstrate that diplomatic speech in Uzbek and English language frequently use speech economy to express complex political ideas in a concise way, and speakers avoid unnecessary words and choose short, understandable expressions or words and phrases. They can, in these examples, peace, humanity, and cooperation combine several concepts into one complex structure and make the speech more effective. A logical coherence is achieved through the organization of ideas, cause, effect, and argumentative sequence. Uzbek diplomatic speech often use collective expressions such as hamkorlik or cooperation and umumi maqsadlar to create unity and solidarity. English diplomatic speech frequently use logical markers such as because, we must, and similar structures to show clear connections between ideas. Therefore, both Uzbek and English diplomatic discourses demonstrate.
Your time is up for this one. The tree was just for you. Please, dear professors.
Do you have any questions? You are
Yes, I have. Mostly, like let's say, diplomatic relations should be short, clear, concise, and also like logically correct and factual. Yes. How about in this case? Okay, just you are talking about speech economy. So, how is speech economy different from normal dialects? Like in normal dialects, we mostly just would like to economize the speech. Why? Because of the time. But how about in diplomatic relations? Just what's the difference in these things?
Speech.
Oddiy dialektdan diplomatik dialektlarni orasidagi mana shu nutqiy ekonomiya tejamkorlikning farqi nima?
They can express each words attentively because every speech plays important role in the states. So sentences should be clear, concise, and the contextual meaning very important feature.
I've got one question. It was an interesting defense, but I've got a confusion, or maybe just I need you to clarify one thing according to your dissertation paper itself, not the presentation. Your paper gives idea about this economy of speech in political discourse. And I noticed in your reference the books by Bobo Kalonov, Ramazan Rajabovich, naming neuropsycholinguistics. How did you use it? And how is it connected with political discourse, language using economy? Please explain it to us. Where did you use it? 2 books with neuropsycholinguistics are used in his references. Where exactly did you use it? How did you use it? And how is it connected with your book?
He's my scientific supervisor, and
My scientific
he
supervisor
gave
is
me
Xorijiy.
his books and works to use my own research paper. And
Sağ olun, düşündünüz mü?
yes,
Buna dedim.
buna bağlı var.
Qayerda ishladingiz? Ishingizni qaysi joyda ishladingiz? Yaxshi scientific supervisor ekanlar, yaxshi kitoblari juda ham yaxshi yozilgan. Hech qanaqa e'tirozim yo'q. Kitoblarning sifati juda ham yaxshi. Prosta sizni ishingizga nima aloqasi bor? Ishingiz ham yomon yozilmagan. Lekin o'shani tushuntirsangiz bo'ladi.
In the first chapter, I emphasize the theoretical part. In these chapters, I use it my scientific supervisor.
Yaxshi, teoriya qismida ishlatdim deyapsiz. Ayting o'shani qanday ishlatdingiz teoriya qismida? Chunki bu hozir politik nutq haqida gap ketyapti.
Yo'q, aynan politik nutq emas.
Qanaqa nutq?
Umumiy o'sha diplomatik nutqlarda.
Diplomatik nutq. Politik nutq.
Yo'q, aynan politik emas.
Yaxshi, diplomatik nutq. Yaxshi, diplomatik
Har
nutq.
qanday diplomatik nutq misol bo'lishi mumkin ishimda.
Har qanday diplomatik nutq misol bo'lishi mumkin, yaxshi, lekin unga neuropsixolingvistikani kitobini nima aloqasi bor?
Every speech owns to person.
Qayerda ishlatgandilar-ku, referensga qo'shilgan. Ya nimaga ishlatdingiz deyapman. Qayerda ishlatdingiz? Qayerda qo'llagansiz o'shani? Qo'llaganmisiz? Ko'rsatib bilasizmi? Qaysi punktni o'sha yerdan olgansiz? Chunki bir menimcha yana politik deyapmanmi? Qanaqa edi? Politik emas. Diplomatik. Yaxshi, unda agar birinchi unaqada qo'lladim deyapsiz. Diplomatik nutda neuropsixolingvistik qanaqadir xususiyatni sezdingizmi u kitobni qo'lladingiz? Agar sezgan bo'lsa ayting. Har bitta qo'llangan narsa bir maqsad bilan qo'llandi. Siz bu kitobni ishlatgansiz. Xo'sh. Ishlatdingizmi yo shunchaki qo'shdingiz? Agar shunchaki qo'shgan bo'lsangiz, shunchaki qo'shdim deb men darsda olmayman. Agar haqiqatan ham neuropsixolingvistik qanaqadir aspekt topgan bo'lsangiz, aytsangiz, bizga ham qiziq bo'ladi tushunamiz. Shunchaki ishladim.
I've got a question if you don't mind. So here in your conclusion part of this presentation of PPT, okay, no, I'm not saying about the whole work, but this part.
Yes.
Therefore, both Uzbek and English diplomatic discourse demonstrate the importance of economic coherence and also the language use of different linguistic devices. I wonder what different linguistic devices can be used in diplomatic speech, and which linguistic devices is more emphasized in diplomatic speech, specifically in political speech.
Political speech.
Yeah. Do you understand my question?
Linguistic device.
Yes. Chunki mana hozir o'zingizni
Bog'lovchilar
prezentatsiyangizdan
nazarda tutyapsiz.
yo'q, bog'lovchilar emasmi, faqat bog'lovchilar.
She'rni bog'lash.
Linguistik vositalar. Til vositalar.
Eshitding.
Sizni aynan prezentatsiyangizdagi ma'lumotdan men sizga savol beryapman. Savolim ediki, aynan mana shu betda siz xulosa qilib bergan oxirgi gapda aytyapsiz, lingvistik vositalar ishlatiladi deb. Mani savolim, qaysi lingvistik vositalar diplomatik nutqda ishlatiladi va aynan siz ishingizga taalluqli bo'lgan siyosiy nutqlarda qaysi bir lingvistik vositalar ko'proq ahamiyatga ega, ya'ni ko'proq ko'rsatish mumkin bo'ladi?
You can see the table above.
Where is the table? I can't see anything. Okay.
Peace. And in this table, peace, humanity, and cooperation, like these phrases.
I can't see any table.
Peace, humanity, cooperation, and
Savolni o'zini tushundingizmi, Yulduzxon? Savolga tushundingizmi?
Mangacha literary devices bitta sanab bering. Masalan, ana bu literary device ishlatiladi. Mayli, I don't need your examples. Linguistic vositalar. Men havodan olmadim o'sha uchun aytdimki, o'sha prezentatsiyangizdagi aynan o'sha oxirgi nima deydi, conclusioningiz partida shu so'z bor ekan, shu bunaqa linguistik vositalar degan gap bor ekan. Shu yerdan oldim.
The linguistics of Japan nima degani?
Maqollardan
yo'q-da, shu endi nimamiz komissiyamiz yaxshi ishlaydi. Shu har bir dissertatsiyani kuzataman, qarayman. Baho qo'yishda nimaga endi subyektivlikka yo'l qo'ymaylik, obyektiv bo'lsin deymanda qarayman. Lekin hozir 9-betda shunaqa bir nimaga duch keldim. In the linguistics of jahon, bu shudan so'rayapman, ulug'bek sayflaringizdan o'sha nimada bo'lganlar tabrizishda, shu uchun so'rayapman. Bu nima degani deb. O'sha primoysdan so'radilar shu savolni, nima degani shuni tushuntirib bering. In the linguistics of jahon deganda nima nazarda tutyapsiz?
My scientific supervisor is specialty is French because I have had to in Uzbek version I sent him and he
yaxshi O'zbekchasi yaxshi, inglizchasi nimaga bunaqa? Sertifikat bor. Jahon deb tarjima qildim.
Technical
Problem? Is it a technical problem?
Ism deb o'ylagan.
Jahonda harflar, boshqa harflar bo'lsa,
AI o'ylanamiz.
Qayerda o'z tarjima qilish kerak-da, AI tarjima qilish kerak emas-da. Siz qarashingiz kerak edi-da, u tarjimani AIga ishonib bo'lmaydi, u inson emas u.
Mayli, AI tarjima qilganidan keyin ham inson omili sifatida draftlaringiz bilan uni qaytib ko'rib chiqishingiz kerak edi. Shunday o'rganishlar qo'ygansiz. Dissertatsiya ichini
Endi o'zini ichini yo'qsa balki bunaqa ko'rib chiqar. Lekin o'zi bitta ko'zga tushgani, men mana shuni ko'ryapman.
Bizlar ham dissertatsiyani o'zi o'rgatamiz.
Yaxshi emas-da bu qo'llarimiz qo'yib ishlaymiz. Shu savollar bo'lmaydi. Savollar bo'lmaydi. Savolingiz bormi?
savolga javob berolmadim. Yo'q, savolga javob berolmadim.
Fransuz tilidagi bironta diskursni o'qiymiz, o'rganishga faqat manba ingliz bilan o'zbekmi? Fransuzcha olmagan. Shavkat Mirziyoyev, Islom Karimov, yana kimlar? Barack Obama,
Antonio Guterres, Kofi Annan, Joe Biden, Barack Obama.
Ikkinchi bobingiz tarixiy manimchada, tarixiy Amir Temur bilan bog'liq edi.
Sizni ishingiz edimi o'sha Ancient Times? Hali ham turibdimi shunday?
Yo'q, o'zgartirdingiz.
O'zgargan nimalarni yaxshi qo'yganmi? Rejalar lekin o'zi tayyor emasda.
O'zi tayyor emas.
Ana endi o'zgarib, o'sha Ancient Times o'rgangan
Necha marta ishingizni ko'rib qaytib yugurdik, Yulduzxon.
Sizdan xafa ham bo'ldingiz.
O'sha ishni o'sha payt qaytarmaganimizda, kamchiliklaringizni aytmaganimizda.
Biroq xafa bo'lmadim, faqat borib kelish muammo bo'lgani uchun keling deyishganda
Keling degan so'z sizni xafa qildimi? Muammo tug'dirdimi sizda? Keling degan so'z.
yo'q muammosi. Hozir yaqin bo'lsa men ham kelib ketsam, sizlardan bilib olsam xursand bo'laman.
Endi o'zi sabab emas, bahona sifatida qabul qilamiz, mayli.
Qayerdan siz? Bahona.
Yaxshi. Savol yo'qmi? Savol yo'qmi? Yo'q. Okay. Thank you. So the first, sorry, Yulduzxon the first review is Xorijiy bo'lib o'tdi. So Yulduzxon, you may take this please.
Osiyo Xalqaro Universiteti ijtimoiy fanlar va texnika fakulteti xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi 1991 xorijiy til va adabiyot ingliz tili mutaxassisi magistranti Qodirova Yulduzxon Sodiqjon qizining magistrlik dissertatsiyasiga ichki taqriz asosiy qismiga o'tsam, magistrlik dissertatsiyasini o'rganish jarayonida quyidagi tavsiyaviy xarakterdagi kamchiliklar mavjud. Mundarijada Mundariya qismida boblar raqamlashtirishda texnik nomuvofiqliklar mavjud. Ikkinchisi, mundariya sahifa raqamlari ko'rsatilmagan, kirish boblar, fasllar, xulosa, umumiy xulosa va foydalangan adabiyotlar ro'yxati aniq raqamlanmagan. Kirish qismida tadqiqot obyekti va predmet ayrim o'rinlarda aniq chegaralanmagan. Bir joyda obyekt diplomatik nutq muomalari sifatida, boshqa joyda esa diplomatik munosabatlarda nutq samaradorligi va mantiqiy ishchilik muammolari sifatida berilgan. Predmet esa speaker diplomat leaders characteristic person tarzida juda umumiy ifodalangan. Obyekt va predmet lingvistik tahlil materiali hamda tadqiqot yo'nalishiga mos holda aniqroq ajratilishi zarur. Tadqiqot metodlari sifatida qiyoslash, tahlil, sintez, semantik interpretatsiya, sotsiologik tahlil kiritilgan, ammo ularning aynan qaysi bobda, qaysi materiallar, qaysi diplomatik nutq namunalarida qo'llanilganligi yetarlicha ochilmagan. Ayrim paragraflarda mavzu doirasidan chetga chiqish holatlari uchraydi, xususan xarizma, shaxsiy joziba, telefon ishlatmaslik, ko'z bilan aloqa, tana tili va shaxsiy muomala bo'yicha keng tavsiyalar diplomatik nutq etiketi bilan qisman bog'liq bo'lsa-da, asosiy mavzu nutqiy tejamkorlik va mantiqiy izchillik tahlili bilan yetarlicha ilmiy bog'lanmagan. Ushbu qismlar qisqartirilib, bevosita diplomatik diskurs tahliliga xizmat qiladigan shaklda keltirilishi maqsadga muvofiq bo'lar edi. Matnda ayrim texnik imloviy va uslubiy xatoliklar mavjud. Ayrim o'rinlarda inglizcha matnlarda avtomatik tarjima izlari va mazmuniy noaniqliklar seziladi. Ish himoyadan oldin to'liq lingvistik va texnik tahrirlash lozim. Dissertatsiya ayrim internet manbalari ilmiy manba sifatida yetarlicha rasmiylashtirilmagan. Masalan, Google Search, Wikipedia, Amazon, LinkedIn kabi havolalar aniq maqola nomi, muallif, nashr sanasi va murojaat sanasiz berilgan. Qo'llanilgan adabiyotlar ro'yxatida bibliografik birlik saqlanmagan. Ayrim manbalarda nashr joyi, yili, sahifa ko'rsatkichlar turlicha belgilangan. Ba'zi nomlarni imloviy xatolar uchraydi. Harakatlar deb ketgan, juda bu yerda hamma so'zlar kiritilgan, shakllar tahrir talab qiladi. Ro'yxat yagona bibliografik standart asosida qayta tartibga solish lozim. Ko'rsatilgan kamchiliklar dissertatsiyaning umumiy ilmiy yo'nalishini inkor etmaydi, balki uning strukturaviy ishchilikligini, metodologik aniqligi, mavzu doirasida tahliliy markazlovchi matn sifati va bibliografik rasmiylashtirilishini yanada takomillashtirishga xizmat qiladi. Xulosa qilib aytganda, Qodirova Yulduzxon Sodiqjonovning Problems of Speech, Economy and Logical Coherence in Diplomatic Relations on an example of the English and the Uzbek languages most magazin dissertatsiyasi 701/9 xorijiy til va adabiyot ingliz tili mutaxassisligi bo'yicha magistrlik dissertatsiyalarga qo'yilgan talablarga javob beradi va muallifga magistrlik akademik darajasini berish uchun tavsiya etiladi. Javob xalqaro universitet tashqi tahqiqni o'qishga ruxsat berasizlarmi? Rahmat. Demak, tashqi tahqiqdan asosiy qismini o'qib eshittirsam, dissertatsiyaning 3-bobi diplomatik nutqqa mantiqiy uyg'unlik muammolari deb nomlangan. Ushbu bobda ingliz va o'zbek tillari misolida diplomatik munosabatlardagi nutqiy birliklar, mantiqiy ketma-ketlik diskursiv muammolar hamda diplomatik matnlarni nutqiy tejamkorlikka erishishning lingvistik vositalari taqdim etilgan. Dissertatsiya ishi belgilangan talablar asosida rasmiylashtirilgan. Shu bilan birga ayrim juz'iy kamchiliklar ham ko'zga tashlandi. Jumladan ba'zi xorijiy adabiyotlar havolalari keltirilishida texnik noaniqliklar mavjud hamda matnda ayrim imloviy xatoliklar uchraydi. Biroq ushbu kamchiliklar tadqiqotning umumiy ilmiy qiymati va mazmuniga jiddiy ta'sir ko'rsatmaydi. Umuman olganda, Qodirova Yulduzxon Sodiqjonovning diplomatik munosabatlarda nutqiy tejamkorlik va mantiqiy uyg'unlik muammolari ingliz va o'zbek tillari misolida mavzusiy magistrlik dissertatsiyasini olish uchun yozilgan tadqiqot magistrlik darajasiga qo'yiladigan barcha talablarga javob beradi va uni himoya qilishga tavsiya etish mumkin. Tahqirchi Buxoro davlat tibbiyot instituti ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi professori, pedagogika fanlari doktori Qurbonova Gulnoz Nimatovna. E'tiborlaringiz uchun rahmat.
Yulduzxon o'zini fikrlaringizni aytguncha eshitadi. Qani sizdan ham nima deysiz?
Teachers, thank you for feedback. I can use your advices in my future research process. Thank you.
Sizga o'zgina
fikrlarim bor, Yulduzxon. O'ylaymanki, bugungi jarayon nizom talablariga to'liq rioya qilingan holda o'tkazildi. Sizga hech qanaqa ruhiy ta'sir ham o'tkazganimiz yo'q deb o'ylayman. Bugungi dissertatsiya himoyalaringiz bilan sizni chin dildan tabriklayman va oladigan diplomingiz faqat yaxshi kunlaringizga ishlatishingizni
Norozi bosim bo'ldi degan gaplar bo'luvdimi?
Yo'q, shunday bo'lmadimi deb hushidan biroz so'rayapman, chunki
shunaqa holatlar demak bo'lganda bundan oldin shunaqa gaplar chiqqan demak. Shunaqa holat bo'lganmi? Yulduzxon bo'lmadi, ruhiy bosim bo'lmadi.
Farg'onadan kelgansiz, mehmonsiz hozir.
Biz sizni to'xtatib, yo'q noto'g'ri gapiryapsan deb
Kamchiliklarni tushunganingiz aytgansiz, kamchiliklarni tuzatib o'zingiz yaxshi bilasizlar shu narsani.
Yaxshi. Rahmat. Keyingi magistrga beramiz. Bekmurod va Sadoqat Muhammadovna. Topic of the dissertation is neuropsycholinguistic configuration of speech in artistic discourse on the example of English and Hebrew languages. Scientific supervisor is Muhammad Rajakovich, and reviewers are Gafar Zakhurjana and Fajwa Muhammadovich. So, Sadoqat Muhammadovna, you have only 7 minutes to present your dissertation. No volunteers.
Good afternoon, first lady. Good afternoon, dear members of Commission and professor teachers. I am Bekmurod Sadoqat Muhammadovna, and my scientific supervisor is Doctor of Science Bobukalon Ramazan Rajabovich. And my topic of dissertation, research, neuropsycholinguistic speech configuration in artistic discourse on the example of English and Uzbek language. Neuropsycholinguistics is neuropsycholinguistic studies relationship between cognitive process, mental state, and speech. My first and second chapters dedicated theory and the scientists who work in neuropsycholinguistic field, like Sedev, well-known psycholinguist, Russian psycholinguist, Lurie and Bobokalon and other neuropsycholinguistic researchers. And my third chapter, object of my research were O. Henry's and Ötker Hoshimov's short stories. In the third chapter, we analyzed 3 short stories, Uzbek short stories, Bolayutsi, Gilanpay Bokhars, and O. Henry's 3 short stories, Last Live, After 20 Years, and Gift of Magi. Here in the table, we analyzed stories and emotion of characters according to conversation trigger, the primary neuropsycholinguistic mechanism, reaction of dominant reader, the role of cultural discourse. We analyze it according to reaction of the dominant reader because we didn't meet heroes, characters, and we didn't communicate with them. We analyzed neuropsycholinguistic mechanisms from characters' speech. From their speech, we analyzed their inner feelings, their emotions, their ideas, how they reflect their emotions, how they reflect their inner feelings through their speech. We analyzed it. Bolayutsi is the first story. In this story, the main trigger is the child's crying and mother's reaction. And these elements attract the reader's attention and create empathy. As a result, readers develop feelings of compassion and self-awareness, moral awareness, emotional involvement also. The story also reflects important cultural values related to motherhood, neighborhood, and family caring. In the second story, Gilan Paikov, Carpet Socks. A simple household object, the warm socks becomes a symbol of love and family relationships. The story activates memory and emotions. Son often brings warm socks to his mother, and this simple situation expresses attitude toward to mother.
What English stories you have analyzed to show the common psycho-linguistic characteristics? Yes, English stories. What English stories?
Henry's last leaf after 20 years and hit of Magi.
So do you have the
Yes,
analysis table?
analysis. Example or
samples, analysis table.
This is examples for
Uzbek
stories.
Uzbek stories.
This is examples for English stories, and there is also explanation. Should I move to English stories? Okay. Gift of Magi. The story starts by showing us a young couple who are very poor and they own highly prized items. O. Henry uses beautiful irony here. Yol sold her long hairs to buy gift for his partner, and his partner gifted her comb. It's irony, it's beautiful irony. O. Henry used here irony to make more emotional literary text. And the next one, the last leaf. The main focus of this story is a single leaf outside a window. Sikyol believes that when last leaf falls, she will die. It builds hope and anxiety for both the characters and reader. At the end, we find out that the leaf was actually painted on the wall by an old artist, and this gives the reader sense of relief. I wrote here this academic word, keservis. It's release the stress, kesersis. We explain it here. It's academic word.
Is there any other table where you just compared?
Yes, I have this table. The chosen text share characteristics of English creative discourse, analytical factors, and the outcomes. Should I explain Uzbek version or English version?
Both of them.
Both of them, okay. For example, in Bola Yılısı, A Child's Cry, as I said, the story also reflects important cultural values related to motherhood and family care, neighborhood. Old woman was strange and alien for baby. Child was sobbing, and he wants to buy warm ice cream. In this situation, we can see gratitude, compassion toward to a strange child. It's Uzbek neighborhood we can see here. Yes, feelings.
And your time is out.
But I have.
Şunun şu test asosiy narsalarni ko'rsating
I have a lot of information.
I know.
Thank you. So we will clarify during these questions and answers. Time for questions and answers.
Out of your analysis, please give us your novel.
Okay. Neuropsycholinguistic field is interdisciplinary field. Most scientists investigated this field, this theory, and these stories also investigated by different researchers. We investigated it through neuropsycholinguistics lens. So within the neuropsycholinguistic lens, neuropsycholinguistic nazar bilan biz nima qildik-da?
Nima degani shu neuropsycholinguistic?
Neuropsycholinguistic Should I explain in English?
Yes.
Neuropsycholinguistic studies relationship between cognitive process, emotional, mental state, and speech, language.
One example. With this neurolinguistics analysis through the lens of neurolinguistics, neurolinguistics, where we can see emotion, cognition.
In the last leaf, for example, in the last leaf, girls, sick girl connected her life with one green leaf. And when the leaf falls, she thinks that she will die. There also emotional, mental state. It reflects her mental state. And the artist draws on the wall the last green leaf, and girl survived her life. It's related to her emotions, feelings, inner feelings.
What about the Uzbek? From the Uzbek, with some samples.
Bu yerdan bildim sample.
Some
Siz
I want
sample
to hear. Example there yok, bu in general aytyapti, faqat bitta narsani aytdim.
No, I have examples also.
I show o'zbek tilida aynan shu bitta qismini olib tahlil qilib bersangiz qanday tavsif qilinganligini so'ramoqchiman.
Yes,
Okay.
okay. Issiq manoj obering, unaqasini qayoqdan topaman? There is a communication between children and her mother, his mother. And one strange old woman came, there were conversation, negative conversation. At that time, child was sick, ill, and his mother didn't want to buy. But strange woman came and pacified her, pacified his with positive sentences, with showing gratitude toward child, and a child stops crying, stops sobbing. Here we can see mental state of child.
Okay. Manda savol bunaqa manimcha murakkab emas, konseptual savol beraman. Juda yaxshi tushunmayman hisoblanib. Oldindan aytay, agar men xato aytsam, tuzatib qo'yasiz deb so'zlayman. Neuropsixolingvistika deganda, men interdisciplinary ko'rmayapman hech narsa bu yerda. Bu multidisciplinar bo'ladi, chunki bu yerda ikkidan ortiq lingvistika bor, psixo bor, ya'ni psixologiya, neyro bor. Bu уже meditsinaga. Uchta bo'ladi. Siz interdisciplinary deganingiz uchun aytaman, interdisciplinary bo'lmaydi bu. Multidisciplinary bo'ladi. Ko'p disiplinlar bir-biriga bitta joyda mujassam bo'lgan. Yaxshi, neuropsixolingvistik analiz unaqalarni tahlillarni qilganman deyapsiz. Buni qanchalik to'g'riligini biz qanday tushunsak bo'ladi? Chunki neyro jihatdan u qanaqadir meditsinskiy tahlillar bo'lishi kerak, u yerda qanaqadir analizlar bo'lishi kerak, uni mental holatini belgilovchi qanaqadir omillar bo'lishi kerak. Qanday bitta asardan bu narsani siz ko'rib bildingiz? U last leafdagi nima edi u qizchaning nomi? Esimda yo'q. O'sha qizni mental holatini qanday aniqladingiz siz? Shu jihatdan menimcha tahlillar bo'lishi kerak bu yerda. Chunki neyro degan so'z qo'shildiki, bu yerda o'sha meditsina qo'shiladi. Uchta disiplina bo'lyapti. Siz psixologiya jihatdan tahlil qilish kerak, lingvistika jihatdan tahlil qilish kerak, leksikologiya, keyin meditsina. 3 xil tahlil bo'lishi kerak.
Our topic is neuropsycholinguistic configuration.
ko'ryapman-da, men neyro qayerda? Ko'ryapman tahlillaringizni. Tahlillar.
Lekin bu tahlillar neyropsixolingvistika demasdan ham oldin xuddi shunday tahlillar berilganda bu asarlar to'g'risida. Endi sizni o'zingizni yondashuvingiz qanaqa? Neyropsixolingvistik tahlil qilyapsiz. Xo'sh, endi neyropsixolingvistik jihatdan oldin qilingan tahlillardan sizning tahlilingiz farq qilishi kerak. Ana shu farqni bizga ko'rsatib bering. Siz qilayotgan tahlillar o'zi adabiy jihatdan bolani yupatib nimani qildi?
No, there is also reaction of the dominant reader. For example, we analyze it while reading short stories. We analyze their mental state from their speech, from character's speech. We didn't communicate with them. We didn't meet, for example, his characters. Yes, we analyze it. What kind of feelings they reflected through their speech from story. This is not
Psixologik emasmi bu? Nimasi buni neyropsixologiya? Psixiatr o'zi gaplashadi, ruhiy kasal bilan psixologik tahlilni kriteriyasini aytyapsiz-da o'zi. Uni mental holatini belgilaydi o'sha. Uni neyroga nima aloqasi bor?
Firstly, scientists studied this field as psycholinguistics.
Psycholinguistics
Then they added neuro, the word neuro, because our brain, for example, producing one phoneme requires several brain functions. That's why scientists added the word neuro into psycholinguistics.
Linguistics, not literature. Adabiyotda qanday biz uni tadqiq qilamiz, yozib qo'yilgan holatlarni.
We can analyze.
Ana men sizga hozir bahoyingiz 2 desam, bu neyropsixolingvistik jihatdan sizga ta'sir qiladi. Qanaqadir insult bo'lasiz, insult natijalarini ko'rib, MRTdan ko'rasiz. MRT o'sha neyro unaqa tashxis bo'ladi sizga.
It depends on person's emotional and mental state. For example, some person.
Xitoyda edik biz buni ko'rdik. Bular aynan shu bunaqa narsa emas. Biz uni ko'rdik, realni ko'rdik biz uni.
Qarangda, neyropsixolingvistika nima ekanligini tushuntiraman-da, bu siz tushunmayapsiz-da. Neyropsixolingvistika mana oddiy nevropatologni qiladigan ishi bor-ku, nimani o'lchaydigan u ritmni o'lchaydigan qaysi apparat edi? EEG'si bor. Mana shu EEG sizni holatingizni ko'rsatib beradi. Bu neyrosi. Qanaqa holatdasiz, 10 minutdan keyin yoki 15 minutdan keyin siz qanaqa reaksiya qilishingiz mumkin holatda. Endi neyropsixolingvistika o'qitilayotgan nimalarda, yo'nalishlarda ular yangi bitta usulni qilgan. Masalan, deydiki, bizni chiqarayotgan kadrlar kim bo'lib chiqadi jamiyat uchun? Nima qiladi? Ular, men hozir bitta nimamiz, bitta misolda aytdim. Bitta misolda mana bitiruvchi talaba boryapti BYD kompaniyasiga. BYD bilasiz, mashina ishlab chiqaruvchi. Hozirgi mashinalar, Xitoyning mashinalari agar ko'rsangiz, sizga sразу reaksiya beradi. Qanaqa reaksiya qiladi? Yozadi, sizni holatingizni ko'radi-da, o'sha demak o'sha EEG'ga o'xshash bir apparat qo'yilganda ichida. Qanday ko'radi? Chunki menga yozadi mashina, masalan aytadi, sekin hayda, asabiylashma, don't be nervous deydi. Men o'ylayman, qayerdan bilyapti mana don't be nervous deb yozyapti. Nervini ekanligini qayerdan biladi? It's okay, be calm deb yozadi. O'zingni nima qil, bos deydi. Men hayronman, nimadan desam, buni hammasini qilayotgan odamlar neyropsixolingvistlar ekan. Ular nima qiladi? O'sha EEG apparatga o'xshash bir narsani joylayapti va u yerda tilini bular tahlab qo'yapti. Agar mana bu holatda bo'lsa, aytaylik o'sha nima yuqorilab ketsa, o'sha yozadi. Eng yuqori darajasiga kelgan paytda be calm, don't be nervous, stop your car. To'xtat deydi. Oyog'ingizni urishni boshlaydi, o'zi to'xtatish uchun-da, nima break urishni boshlaydi. To'xtatyapti. Bu sizni qanaqa holatda ekanligingizni. Mana endi hozir tushunayotganim, sizni holatingizda siz hozir bu yerda hech qanaqa nimani o'rgana olmaysiz. Hozir avtorni yozayotgan paytidagi holatini ham bilmaysiz. Dominant reader bo'lsangiz ham bilmaysiz. Plus uni ta'riflayotgan anavi qahramonni ham bilmaysiz, heroni ham bilmaysiz. Sizni nima qilishingiz mumkin? Hozir neyropsixolingvist Men o'ylaganim o'zingizni sizga ta'sirini neyropsixolingvistik ta'sirini o'rganishingiz mumkin edi balki. Nima? Bu holatda qanaqa? Reaction of the dominant reader deb yozyapsiz. Siz hozir dominant readersiz bu yerda. Biz eshituvchimiz faqat. Siz dominant reader sifatida mana shu manojni olib ber, kimni qilib ber dedi-ku bola. Balki bolangiz bilan shunaqa holat bo'lgandir sizda ham. Sizning reaksiyangiz qanaqa bo'lgan edi? Aytaylik, qanaqadir bir situatsiyani berdi, juda ham qiyin holatga qoldi va siz o'sha situatsiyaga kirib ketdingizda, ba'zida o'sha kitobning ichida yashaymiz-ku, o'sha dominant reader sifatida kitobning ichida yashab, siz o'zingizni holatingizni tasvirlashingiz mumkin edi. Hozir Ulug'bek Sayfullayevich aytdilar-ku sizga, "Men sani baho 2 desam, ana neyropsixolingvistik ta'sir bo'ladi. Sizni qanaqa holatingiz bo'ladi? Yig'laysiz, nima qilasiz, boshqa." Dominant reader sifatida o'zingizni holatingizni o'rganing edi balki.
Depends on personality.
No. This is just the your personality is okay.
Hamma har xil narsani qabul qiladi.
Okay. But the dominant reader is you, not us.
Aytsak, bola yig'isida, sen deb tushuntirib beray, masalan, o'sha bola chinqirib yig'layotgan vaqtida
kimni perspektivasida o'rgandingiz hozir? Neyropsixolingvistik tahlil kimni perspektivasi? From your own perspective?
Yes.
Your own perspective, just tell us what's happened with you. If you didn't have any survey with other readers,
Yes.
it's okay. If you had any survey like individual approaches, okay, individual approach can happen. Have you ever approached to me and asked, "You are a dominant reader of this book. Please just tell me your opinion about this situation." Biror kishidan so'radingizmi shu gapni? Men bu kishiga kelib yoki kimdandir, men bu talabalardan kelib aytdingizmi? Men neyropsixolingvistik tahlil qilyapman. Sen shu kitobni o'qigan bo'lsang, mana bu situatsiyada o'zingni qanaqa his qilgansan deb so'radingizmi? Yo'q. Survey qilmagansiz. Xo'p, survey qilmagan bo'lsangiz, unda dominant reader sizsiz hozir. Tamom. Sizdan boshqa odam yo'q, chunki survey qilmagansiz. Xo'p, dominant reader sifatida sizga qanaqa ta'sir qildi? Ayting shu narsani. Aylantiryapsiz gapni. U yerda literary analysis qilyapsiz-da, tushundingiz? Neyropsixolingvistikani men sizga oddiy tilda tushuntirib berdim. Natijadorlik kerak bizga. Mana BYD kompaniyasi bizga natija beryapti. Men ko'rdim. Men haydovchi sifatida roziman. Nimaga roziman? Chunki u meni o'qib bilyapti holatimni. Siz reader sifatida men qahramoningizni holatini o'qib bildingizmi? Hop o'qigan bo'lsangiz nima ta'sir?
For example, it's Owen Mother's, according to Owen Mother's reaction, a child doesn't stop crying, sobbing, and strange woman came and she expressed gratitude toward the child. In this case, child stopped.
Qarang, men sizga bitta misol beraymi? O'zimdan nimamdan kelib aytaman, tajribamdan kelib aytaman. Siz o'z neyropsixolingvistika deyapsiz, mana men mavzuyim doktorlik sayensda mutarjim psixologiyasi bo'lganda, psixologiyani shu neyropsixolingvistik nuqtai nazardan magistr talabalarga men bitta tarjimani shunday berdim. Tarjimani individual berdim, vaqt belgiladim, tarjima qildim. Shunaqa stressga tushdi ular, men kuzatib o'tiribman ularni. Stressga tushdi. Keyin survey qildim. Nima bo'lyapti dedim. Nima desam buni qilib bilmading. Chunki yo so'zni bilmaydi, yoki vaqt limit qilinganligi uchun vaqtga ulgurmaydi. Bittasi so'zni bilmasa, bittasi vaqtni bilmaydi va o'sha so'zni bilmagan, vaqtni bilmagan unga kuchli ta'sir o'tkazyapti. U qiz nima nerv chiqib ketyapti. Qila olmadi, tarjima hech qanaqa natija bera olmadi. Surveyning natijasidan chiqmasga. Undan keyin oldinda xuddi shu she'rni aytdimki, qilib tarjima qilamiz dedim. Va limit qo'ymadim, time management qilmadim. Mana 5 minut, 10 minutda qilasan demadim. O'tirib tugatganingcha o'tirdim. Unda gruppa bo'ldi bular. Men bilmaganni bu kishi to'ldirdi. Bu kishi ikkilardan joyda o'qishni to'ldirdi. U kishi qilgan ishni bu kishi sayqalladi. 4 tavi birdaniga guruh bo'ldida, bir-birida ana o'sha strength, ana bu pressure yo'qoldi. Bir-biriga tayanib, ular o'sha chiroyli qilib time management yo'q, pressure yo'q, chiroyli qilib she'rning tarjimasini chiqardi. Bundan nima xulosa qilish mumkin? Demak, inson har bir narsadan ta'sirlanadi. Ana survey qildim va shu holat bilan oldin menda o'zimda nima bor edi? Qanaqa talablar qo'yildi? Talablarim bor edi. Oldindan o'zim o'sha talab asosida bajardim ishni. Lekin ko'rdimki o'sha natijaga erishmadim. Men talablarimni o'zlari topdim. Keyin natijaga erishdim. Ko'rdingizmi? Ana bu survey. Ana bu jihatda endi pretensiyamiz boshqa bizani. Ya'ni biz boshqa narsani tutamiz, lekin boshqa narsani olamiz. Boshqa narsani o'ylaymiz, qilingan natijalardan keyin ana bunaqa bo'ladi deymiz, lekin aslida boshqa narsa bo'ladi. Siz ana shunaqa survey, ana shunaqa qilib tahlil qilgan bo'lishingiz kerak. O'zingizga shu narsa qanday ta'sir qildi? Davidson aytadi, perception deydi. Qanday qabul qildingiz bu narsani? Perception, regulation, uni miyangizda aylantirasiz, o'ylaysiz, nima bo'ldi, qanaqa bo'ldi, qanday bo'ladi. Endi oldin uni o'qishdan oldin o'ylaysizki, qanaqa bo'lar ekan. Masalan, bitta baxt deydi qo'yadi yozuvchi. Baxt, nimani aytmoqchi bu yerda baxt deb? Uning uchun baxt nima? O'ylaysiz, o'ylab qolasiz. Ko'ryapsizmi? Perception, regulation, presentation. Bular bevosita o'sha pragmatika bilan bog'lanib ketadi. Locution, illocution, perlocution bo'ladi. Insonni mental o'sha ruhiy holati, qabul qilishi, idrok etishi, u narsani bilishi. Ana bu jihatlar hammasini psixologiyasi. Ana shu jihatdan shunaqa tahlil qilganingiz bo'lsa, ko'rsatib bering. Bormi shunaqa survey o'tkazdingizmi, yo'qmi yoki? Yo faqat ana shunaqa tahlillarni jadvalga qo'yib chiqdingizmi? Ana shuni ko'rsangiz, sizga mana yo'naltiryapmiz. Balkim bu ishingizda hozir unaqa jihatiga juda chuqur ketmagan bo'lsangiz, keyingi ishingizni inobatga olasiz. Biz hozir sizni bu yerda nima qilish uchun emas, to'g'ri yo'naltirish uchun savol beryapmiz va sizga psixolingvistik tahlillar qanday amalga oshirishni yo'naltiryapmizda sizni. Tushundingizmi? Shu asosda bitta tushuntirib bering. Qani ana psixolingvistik degan yashil bitta nima chiqdi jadvalingiz. Qani yo'q. Oldingizda. Yashil ana shu nima deyapsiz? Ana qarang, nima deyapsiz shu yerda? Cognitive emotional systems deyapsiz. Direct attention. Xush, o'sha bolani yig'isi, onasi ovota olmagani, o'sha o'qiyotgan kitobxonni diqqatini nimada tortdi? Nima bola yig'lab bolasi deb tashlab qo'ydimi kitobni? Yoki darsi o'qidingizmi? Ana shunaqa bo'ladi. Nima bo'ldi? Ana aytyapsiz, o'qing ana shu.
A literary text may be analyzed as a cognitive emotional system that directs attention.
Suv iching, sadoqat qilamiz.
Biz bilamiz sizni mehnat qilganingiz shu uchun aytyapmiz. Sizni o'sha qilgan mehnatingizni ko'rsating deyapmiz. Sadoqat. Nazira aytganidek, sadoqat dedingizmi? Sadoqat, kechirasiz Nazira aytmansizmi? Sadoqat, o'sha siz qilgan ishingiz mavzu zo'r, tahlillar beryapsiz, lekin ana shunaqa abzu nimalar qildingizmi deyapmiz sizlar. Tushundingizmi? Biz sizni nima qilmayapmiz. Mayli, o'tiring keyin bu masalani ko'rsatib ochib berdik. Psixolingvistik nimaligini ko'rsatib berdik. Hozir fikrni keyin aytamiz. Sizlarga fikrni beraylik. Norasmiy chiqishda aytasiz keyin. Yoki siz taqlidchimi?
Yo'qmi?
Yo'qmi? Taqlidchisiz emasmi? Kim taqlidchi? Okey, daftarimizni o'zi firjonmi? Ana, sadoqat ko'rdingizmi, neyropsixolingvistika qanaqa ta'sir qiladi? Ana bu neyropsixolingvistika, sizga ta'sir kuchini ko'rsating neyropsixolingvistika. Tushundingizmi? Ana shunaqa ta'sirni ko'rsatib berishingiz kerak edi. Biz ana shuni xohlayapmiz sizdan. Sizni tanqid qilmayapmiz, noto'g'ri demayapmiz. Bizga ana shunaqa ta'sirni ko'rsatib berishyapmiz.
Natijasini eshitgandan keyin bunaqa reaksiya qilasiz. Natija yomon yaxshimi
bilmaysizku shunday.
71-901 xorijiy til va adabiyoti mutaxassisligi 2-bosqich magistranti Bekmurod va Sadoqat Muhammadova tomonidan magistr akademik darajasini olish uchun Neurolinguistic speech in configuration and artistic discourse and on the example of English and Uzbek languages mavzusida yozilgan magistrlik tadqiqot ishiga taqrizda ishning ancha yutuqlari sanab o'tilgan bobma-bob. Shu bilan birga ba'zi bir kamchiliklar aytilgan. Ya'ni iqtibosliklarda greklar soni ko'rsatilmaganligi, ishning ayrim sahifalarida ba'zi texnik kamchiliklar ko'zga tashlanishi aytib o'tilgan. Ammo keltirilgan kamchiliklarga qaramasdan mazkur tadqiqot ishi o'ziga xos qator ijodiy jihatlari ga ega ekanligi hamda tadqiqotchi mavzuni yoritishda ancha mehnat qilganligi yaqqol namoyon bo'lgan. Shuni nazarga olgan holda, demak, ikkinchi bosqich magistranti Bekmurodova Sadoqat Muhammadovnaning o'z mutaxassisligi bo'yicha yozgan magistr akademik darajasini olish yozgan dissertatsiyasi mustamil ravishda olib borilgan, yakunlangan ilmiy ish hisoblanadi va muallif magistr akademik darajasini olish uchun loyiq hisoblanadi. Dissertatsiyani ijobiy baholayman va uni himoyaga tavsiya etaman. Osiyo xalqaro universiteti xorijiy til va ijtimoiy fanlar kafedrasi mudiri, filologiya fanlari bo'yicha falsafa doktori, dotsent Zilg'at Zohirjonova G'affarova. Demak, ijozatlaringiz bilan tashqi taqrizni ham ochib eshittirsam, tashqi taqrizchi ham ishdagi yutuqlarni birma-bir sanab o'tganlar, har bir bob bo'yicha qilingan ishlarni aytganlar, shu bilan birga demak ba'zi bir kamchiliklar sanab o'tilgan, lekin bu kamchiliklarga qaramasdan xulosa qilib aytganda kamchiliklar aytilmagan ekan, uzr. Ishning
kamchilik yo'q ekanmi? Taqrizchilar kamchilik bildirmabdi, yaxshi.
Taqrizchi kamchilik bildirmaganlar yo'q ekan. Fazilay to'g'ri. Xulosa qilib, ushbu magistrantimizni demak ishlarini yakunlangan ish hisoblab himoyaga tavsiya etganlar. Buxoro davlat universiteti professori DS Fayzulay Otabek Muhammadovich.
Rahmat. Majlibaxonlar o'sha yerda turib endi nimasini ayting, norasmiy chiqib
obyektiv nuqtai nazarini aytmoqchiman. Sadoqat Bekmurodova bizadan 2 yildan beri o'qiydilar. O'tgan yil men bu guruhga dars berganman va aynan ilmiy ishlarni boshlagan payt u kishilar individual tarzda demak ishlab, u kishini qay darajada hard working.
2 yil ishlab ishladilar.
Yo'q, men bular emas, ular o'qidilar, men bir yil dars berganman deyapman, ishni boshlagandan keyin. Bitta narsani aytmoqchiman, neyropsixolingvistika masalan men uchun ham, siz uchun ham, ko'pchilik uchun ham bu soha emas. Shu jumladan Sadoqat uchun. Endi men bu kishini defense sifatida aytmoqchiman, ancha rostini aytaman, ancha ko'p ishladilar, maslahat so'radilar, kafedradan kelib, ustozlardan so'radilar. Sometimes she may not have gotten the direction from her scientific supervisor. That may be the reason why she could not know about the conducting surveys or how to approach.
This is the point.
Yes.
We want to direct her to that situation.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe she is not like accepting it not as just like suggestion or advice. Maybe she is kind of accepting it as criticizing point. But this is not like this, Sadoqat. We are not criticizing you. So I'm on behalf of Sadoqat. I can say she is really hard working student. She is tenacious. She is serious student because of she has not gotten enough direction and enough maybe task from her scientific supervisor. She may admit this kind of maybe unattentiveness. That's what I want to say.
Even blaming her supervisor is not like
it's
good.
Not
Yes, you know, because this is very new topic of discussion. Even we admitted that we don't have any idea about neuropsycholinguistics. But what I like kind of advise you, let's say just you will become a PhD, maybe Doctor of Science in future, but don't go to Bukhara State University. This is our joke, like not yes. But what can I do? Please work on this sphere, okay? Just neuropsycholinguistics, because this is very important sphere in our life. Let's say for Uzbekistan's context, because we really need this kind of people who can help us to correct our speech, to correct our linguistic features with the help of neurologists and psychologists. 80% ayollar hozir psixologga boradi, nevropatologga boradi. 80%, 20% puli yo'qligi uchun bormayapti. Masalan, shu uchun ham 80% ayollarga siz kerakli bo'lasizda, neuropsixolingvistika. Biz yo'nalish berdik sizga yaratish uchun emas aslida. Shunaqa qabul qilishingiz kerak edi, men rahmat derdim aslida. Chunki biza kechagina o'rganganda bu yangi yo'nalish tushunyapsiz? Kechagina biza Shanxayga borib ko'rib, og'zimizni ibi qanaqa ibi qildik? 150 marta ibi dedik. Chunki
men xursand bo'lib ketdim. Meni tadqiqotim bilan borib,
bilmasdik. Katta ish qilyapti-da. Xitoy katta ish qilyapti. Ular boshlab bo'lganda bu yo'nalishni biz ham kirishimiz kerak. Mayli, boshlay olmaymiz. Hech bo'lmasa kirishimiz kerak.
O'tgan oy bizada bizani Osloga Polshadan bitta anaqa keldi, PhD, aynan shu psixolingvistika sohasidagi kelganlar keldilar. Aynan shu bizani ustozlarimiz bilan bitta seminar trening o'tkazdilar. O'sha yerda boshlab nimadir boshladilar, biz tushunmadik. Keyin o'zlarini eksperimentlarni aytdilar. $10,000 ga o'sha anaqa yutib olgan ekanlar, grant yutib olgan ekanlar, bitta apparat olganlar. Shu o'qiyotgan payt ko'zni blinking qilishini, qarang, bitta blinking qilishini to'liq bitta dissertatsiya qilganlar. Qaysidir bir so'zni o'qiyotgan payt ko'z masalan 2-3 marta blinking qiladi.
Ana shuni aytyapmiz. Ana shu har bir so'z qanday ta'sir qiladi. O'lim desangiz, u qanaqa ta'sir qiladi? Deyarli o'sha tik shu
aytganimiz nechta liderni ko'rdingiz nimasini? Ana unisini deb. Bo'lmasa survey qilishlari kerak edi yoki boshqalarga ta'sirida. Bu narsa u yozuvchi bilan nima o'tib ketdi ulardan hammasi uni qilib bo'lmaydi-da. Shu uchun ham biz praktik yo'nalish berdikki, ishlasalar ana shu bo'yicha zo'r ishlar chiqadi.
Ozgina siz kishini anaqa ruhlantiradigan ma'noda speech aytdim.
Hozirgi jasorat o'zingiz orqali o'tib ko'rdingizmi?
Ustoz, men juda ham ko'p ishladim.
Xabarimiz bor.
Ko'p ishlaganingiz sizning yutug'ingiz.
Shunday.
Balkim shu uchun negativ nimani qabul qilmaganman. Lekin haqiqatdan o'zim uchun juda ham ko'p narsa oldim. Juda ham ko'p ishladim. Men yuzaki qaraganim yo'q.
Lekin qarang, negativ deganda nimani tushunasiz? Siz negativ deganda nimani tushunasiz? Advice bilan negative speechni farqi. Agar siz advice'ni tushunmaydigan bo'lsangiz, bu sizni katta muammoyingiz. Neuropsixolingvistika bilan точно ishlay olmaysiz kelajakda. Shuni biling. Maslahat bilan negativni ma'nosini farqlangda, keyin aytasiz. Maylimi?
Yana ilmiy tadqiqot ishlaringizni keyingi bosqichlarda davom ettirmoqchi bo'lsangiz, bunday takliflar, tavsiyalar bundan ortiqroq bo'ladi.
Ine harsh way bo'lishi mumkin.
Hozir qayerga kelganingizni tushunib turibsiz, himoya. Himoya deb nimaga aytilgan? Dissertatsiyani o'qiyman chiqib ketaman emas, o'zingizni himoya qilishingiz kerak. Sizga tosh o'tishadi, siz o'zingizni himoya qilishingiz kerak o'sha toshlardan. Shu mazmun shunda izlash.
Thank you for your feedbacks. Recommendation.
Bu hech qanaqa nima qiladigan. Ana bu neuropsixolingvistika. Ana bu
oling keyin bunaqa reaksiya qiladi.
Ne, bu bundayda perception deb o'zingizga aytmadim. Bu kishi o'zi ana shunday perception qildi bu yerda. Siz bahoyingiz 2 deganda ana shunday qabul qildi. Masalan, shunday desam qanday ta'sir qiladi deganda shuni qabul qildingiz. To'g'rimi? Buni boshqa kishi boshqa xil qabul qiladi. O'lim deganda ham bir kishi qabul qiladi, kimdir o'ldi, yaqin odam o'ldi deydi. Kimdir deydiki, ha, bir kun keldik, bir kun ketamiz-da deydi. Ko'rdingizmi? Perception har xil bo'layaptimi? Ana shu yerda 20 kishi o'tirsa, 20 xil perception bo'ladi. 20 xil ta'sir bo'ladi miyaga. Funksiya komanda beradiki, miyangiz sizga. Sen shunday qabul qil. Nima uchun shunday qabul qilasiz? Chunki siz ana shunaqa atrof muhitda katta bo'ldingiz. Sizning atrofingizdagi hamma omillar sizga ta'sir ko'rsatadi. Tushundingizmi? U hech qanaqa sizga biz yomon natija aytmadik.
Hammasi bor edi o'zimda ham, lekin
lekin
Unaqa ko'rsatib olmadingiz.
oxirida o'zi emotsional holatim yo'l qo'ymadim bu narsaga.
Sizda neyropsixolingvistik ta'sir bildimi?
Neyropsixolingvistik ma'lumotlar to'polmadikda biza.
Yo'q, o'sha aytdi-da, emotion dedi. Qani o'sha emotion desa, o'sha o'zini emotionini ko'rsatib ketdi.
Narrative analysis, literary analysis, contextual analysis bilan neuropsycholinguistic analysis bir narsa emasda, siz o'sha narsani yaxshiroq o'sha ustoz bilan, o'zlari bilan yaxshiroq ishlashingiz kerak. Bu kishi menimcha istiqoldagi yagona mutaxassis nima bo'ladi?
Psixolingvistika bilan o'sha kishi ishlayapti.
Eng ko'p ishlagan o'zi respublikada ham shu soha bo'yicha eng ko'p ishlagan olim shu Bobokalov hisoblanadi. Rus olimi Sedefni nimalarni qidirdim, topdim. O'zbekistonda izlaganimda shu Bobokalov ishni ishlari eng ko'p shu sohada ishlangan shu inson ekan.
O'sha kishi bilan ishlaysiz, shu mavzuda ishlangan bo'lsangiz. Yaxshi, rahmat.
Thank you for your feedbacks.
Okay, next presenter is Satwal Deva Nasilakon. Is she here? Okay. The topic of the dissertation is Bhumika Natural Student. The topic of the dissertation is the role of euphemisms in the lingual-cultural layer in English and Uzbek languages. Scientific supervisor is Bobokalov Ramazan Rajabovich. Reviewers are Sadlara Matlivaklovna and Davlatra Mukhayo Hasanovna. Naziratman, so please speak about the role of euphemisms in lingual-cultural layers. The main points which can reveal these phrases.
Good afternoon, dear teachers. My topic is not connected with but my supervisor is also Ramazan Rajabovich. But this euphemisms. And today I would like to present my research entitled The Role of Euphemisms in the Lingual-Cultural Layer in English and Uzbek languages. And first of all, I give you some information about what is the euphemisms. Euphemisms are polite and indirect expressions used to replace words that may sound harsh, offensive, or uncomfortable. They play an important role in communication by helping people show respect and maintain politeness and follow cultural norms. And there is my content. And next is the object and subject of the research work. The object of the research work is euphemisms used in conversational speech, and also Paula Cowley's novel The Alchemist, and Abdullah Qadri's novel is The Mihrabdan Chayan. The subject of the research work is the role of euphemisms in the linguistic and cultural layers of the English and Uzbek languages. The next one is the methods, and the aim of research is to analyze the linguistic and linguo-cultural characteristics of euphemisms in the English and Uzbek languages. The method is to address these issues. The research uses several complementary methods like this comparative method, discursive method, and descriptive methods. And the main ones are comparative constructive and comparative classification methods. These approaches help identify. The third chapter third is the study of the euphemisms in English and Uzbek literary discourse. The first object is the Paulo Coelho's novel is rich in symbolic and exploring themes of destiny, dreams, personal growth, challenges, and Coelho frequently uses indirect and making the text an ideal subject for euphemism. Expressions. The 44 expressions we analyzed in this novel, euphemistic expressions identified and analyzed. And we separate separate them 4 types, distinct semantic categories classified. And third, 1 research questions guiding the semantic and typological analysis. And classification is 44, which are we analyzed 44 euphemistic expressions. We classified into 4 semantic groups by communicative functions. They are these: politeness, embellishment, and softening unpleasant situations, business professional, personal characteristics. And there are some examples and meanings, euphemisms, and also some examples in the novels Alchemist. And next object is euphemisms in Abdullah Qadri's Mihrabdan Chayan, a linguistic and stylistic analysis of how literary master uses indirect create satire, beauty, and cultural. And Abdullah Qadri, master of language. Qadri's novel Ötken Küller and Mihrabdan Chayan features characters so vivid they seem alive. He possessed a rich vocabulary, understood subtitle shades of meaning,
And this is out of the thing. This is out of the thing.
Okay. This Mihrabdan Chayan reflects social, cultural, and moral of late 19th century Uzbek society. Qadri employs euphemisms to soften unpleasant politeness, indirectly expresses sensitive topics, and demonstrate create satire and humor.
Demonstrate politeness and social norms.
Yes. Demonstrate politeness and social norms. And first of all, Mullah Bakhtiyar satirical. Qadri uses ironic euphemisms to Mullah Bakhtiyar direct insults while creating vivid satire, so sings positive language. We analyze these euphemisms in Uzbek kelishgan, muzayyoqlar, husn, qiziq. Which one?
The second one.
Muzayyoqakor.
What does it mean?
I understand this cool person. Some
Cool person?
yeah. The character is some.
If you understand it as cool person, why did you characterize it like decorated?
Decorated, euphemistic describes.
Is it the name? Is it the name? What is
No,
it?
it's a euphemism, which is describes this Mullah Bakhtiyar.
Muzo yokakor, ayvano yokasına
Ya,
yakakor.
Yeah.
Decorate.
Da yakası şunayda cimcimado. Demoqchi. Lekin muzo yakakor deb nima u, yani o ingliz so'zlardan
Oh, scarce.
Arabchadan
Ornaments. Boshqa narsa.
describes freckles and small hooks,
As
ornamental
features.
yuzini bezagan shunaqa donachalarimi?
Bu decorate beryapti, lekin bir massakor degan ma'noda kelyapti.
Why decorate?
Yo'q, siz buni nimaga asoslanib shunaqa description berdingiz? Muzo yakakor, mana bu descriptionni qayerdan olyapsiz? Qaysi manbaga asoslanib shunaqa nima beryapsizda hozir shu yerda? Mana decorated deyapsiz. Euphemistically describes freckles and small scars as ornamental features. Qayerda shunaqa tahlil berilgan? Description berilgan.
In this book, Mihrabdan Chayan, and he worked this masquerade, and he wore this kind of this clothes, I think.
Balki o'zida texnik xato ketgan bo'lishim.
Bo'lishi mumkin ba'zi.
Ana birinchisiga masalan kelishgan deb yoziladi.
Yo'q, kelishgan to'g'ri. Mana kelishgan kunlar.
Eski o'zbek tilida shunaqa
Kelishgan, eski. Chunki o'tgan kunlarimiz o'tgan kunlar. Bu to'g'ri bo'lishi mumkin.
Eski
Yo, o'sha asarda shunday kelishgan bo'lishi mumkin.
Ko'rsatsin o'sha asarni.
O'shani mana shu
Sevgil va chechak dog'i ekan. Muzayoqaqor, sevgil va chechak dog'i.
To'xtang, bu qaysi asardan olingan?
Mihrobdan chiqqan Abdulla Qodiriyning Mihrobdan chiqqan. Describe, bunda yo'qotganni describe, Mulla Baxtiyorni describe qilayotgan shu kelishgan.
Buni AI taqlab berdimi sizga? Presentation'ni
Yo'q, hammasini nima?
o'zi shu so'zlarni kim oldi? ChatGPT nima berdimi sizga? Suggest berdimi? Bormi?
Bormi kitobda?
Sizning dissertatsiyangizdan ko'rsating, nechinchi betdan olyapsiz? Citation
Dissertatsiya
Mehrobdan kitob ko'ramiz, mana nimani olib kelay? Kompyuterimni olib kelay.
Kelishgandan hada chiqdi.
O'tgan kunlarda chiqdimi?
Bu ikkalasini ham ishlatganmisiz?
Kelishgan degan narsa chiqdi.
Mulla Baxtiyorda
Arxivlashdan maqola chiqdi, shu maqolani
balki o'sha maqoladan olgandir.
Kelishgan edilar. Kelishgan bu.
ana topdi. Maqolada bor ekan, sevgil va chechak bog'i ekan mavjudi. Bu betni muzayoqaqor qilib ko'rsatganidek, oyog'ingni choriq ustidagi qisqa Qodiriydan olingan bor ekan. Choriq degan so'zdan bor.
Ana bu nima emasmi? Bibliotekadan keyin qoladi chandiqchalar.
Decorated yo'q-ku, o'zi ko'ramiz. Muzayoqaqor degan so'z o'zi bormi?
Yo'q, bu manimcha buni ana definitionini naqadan olgan?
Bor. Muzayoqaqor. Toshtirnoq ustida berilgan she'rda. Betni muzayoqaqor qilib ko'rsatganidek. Sepkil betni. Chechak kasal ekanda. Lekin decorated emas-ku.
Qoladigan izlar emas, dog'lar emas.
Decorated emas-da u. Dekoratsiya qilganmi yo'q, dog'lar.
Balki unaqa ma'nodadir, ko'chma ma'noda yuzini dekoratsiya qilganda shu.
Masxarabozni gapiryapti o'zi shu yerda, masxarabozlar o'sha zamonni nimasini qo'lga oladida ular. Mulla Baxtiyor bu yerda shu masxarabozni nomi manimcha.
Shundaymi?
No, it's not close. He is not close. He worked in Moscow. He is not the main person in this novel, but he had that kind of describing. That's why we take this kind of euphemisms about.
Masjidda ishlagan deyapsizmi?
Masjid. Mulla Baxtiyor.
Husn deb nimani aytmoqchi bu yerda?
Husni, mana bu yerda bor. Shuni o'qib beraymi? Kitobda bor.
Bizda ham bor unda.
Yo'q, anaqa
gapni o'zida.
O'zida, kitobni o'zida.
Kitob bor, men ko'raman. Siz tushuntiring.
Tashqi ko'rinishiga nisbatan aytilgan bo'lsin.
Undan gapir.
O'zi dissertatsiyangizda bormi ana shu narsa?
Bor.
Nechinchi betida? O'zi shu tahlilingizini o'qib berish bo'lmasa, nima deb berasiz?
66. Mulla Baxtiyor in the novel. For example, let us consider the characters of Mulla Baxtiyor in the novel. Chiqqanlardan biri pakpakana, yumaloq, lo'p-lo'nda bir maxluq edi. Uning gavdasi bu qadar kelishgan, bo'lishi ustiga basharasi ham shunga monand tushgan. Tomog'ining ostida cho'giri qovundek bo'qoq g'ovlab yotar edi. Uning gavdasi misoli bir gubkach bo'lsa, shu gubkachning yuqorisida katta bir suv qovoqni bosh bo'lsin deb yotar edi. Uning gavdasi misoli bir gubchak bo'lsa, shu gubchakning yuqorisida katta bir suv qovoqni bosh bo'lsin deb o'rnatgan edilar. Va bu yaltir qovoqning betida ko'z bo'lib, quyoshda qovjiragan ikkita g'olim turshak og'iz erida bir kafsh burun o'rnida yuqoriga qarab o'rmalangan va haybat bir qurbaqa va quloq maqomida suv qovoqning ikki bag'riga tiralgan ikki oshlov turar edi.
Ana endi qarangda, Nazilaxon.
Kerak.
Lingva kulturologik, lingva kulturologik temaiz, lingva kulturologik qatlamlarni yoritishda eufemizmlarda ana endi qarang, lingva kulturologik qatlam bu yerda nimalarda ko'rinyapti? Mana kelishganda, usunda, qiziqda biz lingva kulturologik eufemizmni ko'rmaymiz. Lingva kulturologik deganda mana turshak deymiz. Masalan, mana turshak lingva kulturologik. Endi shu turshakni yumshatib qana aytadi? Eufemizm uni yumshatib aytish, to'g'rimi? Lekin bu yerda turshak deyapti shunday. Kesar qo'yamiz.
They are dysphemism. In my work, there is some in chapter 1 dysphemism.
Mana qarang, g'ilay ko'zlik deyapti. O'zini nimasini aytadi yoki qovoq, qurbaqa va quloq maqomida suv qovoq deyapti. Masalan, ana bular suv qovoq deyapti. Ana bular lingva kulturologiya. Ana shularni qanday yumshatib bergan yozuvchi? Ishingiz shundan iborat. Yangilik. Mana ingliz tilida qanday ko'rdingiz? Qanaqa lingva kulturologik holatlarni ko'rdingiz? Uni eufemizm bilan berilganmi? Va ingliz tilida, o'zbek tilida qanday berilgan? Ingliz, o'zbek tilida deyapsizmi?
We analyzed some similarities and dissimilarities in the lingua cultural layer in English and Uzbek, and the differences between English and Uzbek euphemisms are reflected in their lexical, cultural, stylistic, and pragmatic features. And Uzbek euphemisms are often influenced by religion and family values. And whereas these English euphemisms tend to be more neutral and indirect in expression. There are differences. While both nouns employ euphemisms to soften meaning and convey cultural values, Uzbek euphemisms in Mehrobtajan are mainly associated with religion and social etiquette, whereas English euphemisms in the Alchemist are largely philosophical and symbolic and reflecting the novelist's spiritual scene.
Bu sizning meshingiz ku? Nahodki yana o'qib berishdingiz. Birinchidan prezentatsiyangizga juda qattiq e'tirozim bor. Prezentatsiyangizda juda ham ko'p kamchilik ko'rdim, kuzatdim. Asarlar oxirigacha yozilmagan nomlanishi. Tayyorgarlik ko'rmadingizmi?
Tayyorgarlik ko'rdim. O'tgan safar prezentatsiyada 3-chapter boshqacha edi.
Prezentatsiyadan keyin ishlaringizni tartibga solmadingizmi, Naziraxon? Yo'q-ku, tartibsiz.
Men umuman 3-chapter boshqatdan qildim.
3-chapterda nima kamchilik edi?
O'zbek asarini olmagan edim. Faqat ikkita ingliz asarini olib qiyoslagan edim. Bu yerdan bitta o'zbek asari olib, lingva kulturologiyada
nima uchun o'zbek asarini o'qish, inglizni o'qish kerak edi bu yerda? O'zbeklarda ish uchun kamchiligingiz aytilgansiz, tuzatgansiz. Baribir o'shanda ham men istayaptimda. Men savol berdim, savolimga javob olmadim. Husn deb nimani aytilgan dedim. Qanday paragrafni yarmigacha o'qidingiz, yarmidan pastki qismda u husn ketgan. Husngacha o'qidingiz, shu bilan yopildi mavzu. Qaytib oching, Ko'rinish deysizmi? Ana, husn. O'qing, nima deb yozgansiz bu yerda? Beauty.
Yes, beauty ironically applied to worn clothes and an old appearance, disgusting negative judgment.
Demek
Husn deb
xunuklikni belgilash shunda. Shunday?
yo'q, ko'rinishi.
Xunuk ko'rinishni belgilamoqchi bo'lganmi yo chiroylimi?
Yo'q, ko'rinishi kiygan kiyimlarda
Husn orqali kiygan kiyimlar.
umuman husni turishida.
Ha, demak, xunukmi kiyinishi, yuzi ko'rinishi yo chiroylimi?
Uni ko'rinishi, kiygan kiyimlar uni noto'g'ri anaqa qilib qo'yar edi deyapti.
Xunuk degan ma'noda. Alximik asardan nima uchun alximik bilan mehrobdan chayon bu bir-biriga nima jihatdan u o'xshashlik ko'rdingizki bu ikkitasini tanladingiz?
Both novels emphasize the inner world of human being. That's why. Because in Alchemist, there is a hero, is the Santiago. Every time he faced some kind of difficulties, and in Mihrab Tanchayan is Anwar is also faced this kind of difficulties in his life. That's why.
This kind of thing.
Yeah.
Same.
Not same, but in the living time we have the kind of difficulties like this achieving something.
In the living time.
Living time, yes. And also these two novels is connected with the spiritual development.
Living time deb nima aytmoqchisiz?
Hayot davomida, yashashda.
Qaysi biri hayot davomida?
Ikkalasida.
Hayot davomidan keyingi voqealar ham bor.
Yo'q.
Hayot davomida.
Savolim bor ekan. Okay, I have a question. Maziraxon, you give table 3.1 on page 53 the meaning of euphemisms, and you have counted 44 euphemisms here. So where did you get these euphemisms? Is it the is it
44. We analyze it in note.
Is this table created after analyzing the novels?
No.
Where did you get this table? Where did you get the meaning of euphemism? So you mentioned here 44 euphemisms, and here are meanings of these. Here is meaning of the euphemism listed in the chart. So where did you get this? Is it the result of the analysis of the novel, or did you take it from someone else's work?
No, it's the result of the novel.
Okay, which novels?
Alchemist.
Alchemist. Alchemist?
Yeah.
And what about 302, 3.2? Again, euphemism, chart, euphemism meaning.
We analyzed in novels in Alchemist 44 euphemisms and we classified them.
Okay, how do you classify them?
This, for example, these four first categories include euphemisms used to make speech more polite.
More polite.
Yeah.
Okay.
And second is a category consists of euphemisms and soften and unpleasant situations.
Okay.
And third one, this category includes euphemisms related to business and professional.
Okay, all of them are used in the novel.
Yeah.
You have taken from the novel.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, so you have done a great job if you did it yourself. Then let's move to the Uzbek part. So do you have the same charts where we can see the types of euphemisms according to the classification which you did for The Alchemist, for example, for the novel Alchemist. Can we find this kind of chart about euphemisms and plain meanings?
In Uzbek novel?
Yeah, because your dissertation is dedicated to the comparative analysis, to the comparison, because you are choosing two languages, English and Uzbek euphemisms. Do you have the same charts where you give euphemisms and the meanings as it is given in the college, public college as well?
Yeah.
Chemist.
71.
71?
Yeah, 71.
Should I go to the page?
First classification is euphemistic expression referring to people. Personal euphemisms like first one is euphemistic
referring to
expression.
people, yeah?
Yeah.
But why not to put them in the same order in the chart? Why you use chart for the first novel and you don't use charts for the second novel? Why? So you have mentioned 9 types of euphemisms here, I see. Yeah?
Yeah. I mentioned about this first my work is there was no this Uzbek novel. That's why I
You couldn't manage to put the chart. Yeah. To put these examples into chart. Yeah. Yes. So questions? No questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, thank you, Nazira Khan. You may take a seat, please. And the viewer is Sabah Madhavatorama, and the second viewer is Darmat Mukayo Hassan.
ijobiy jihatlari aytib o'tilgan mavzu ilmiy amaliy jihatdan dolzarb, muallif mavzu berilishida mahalliy va xorijiy manbalardan foydalangan, tadqiqotning nazariy amaliy ahamiyati haqida aytilgan va shu bilan birga ishdagi ayrim kamchiliklar, demak foydalanilgan manbalarni rasmiylashtirishda texnik noaniqliklar mavjud. Matnning ayrim qismlarida ilmiy uslub talablariga to'liq javob bermaydigan tarjimaviy va uslubiy kamchiliklar uchraydi. Ba'zi misollar eufemizm sifatida noto'g'ri talqin qilingan holatlar mavjud. Ayrim ilmiy qarashlar va fikrlarning takrorlanishi kuzatiladi. Ba'zi boblarda mavzuga bevosita aloqador bo'lmagan umumiy nazariy ma'lumotlar ortiqcha keng yoritilgan. Biroq qayd etilgan kamchiliklar ishning ilmiy mazmuni va ahamiyatini jiddiy darajada pasaytirmaydi. Shuni xulosa qilib aytish mumkinki, Sotivoldiyev va Nazira Abdurahmon qizining The Role of Euphemisms in Lingua Cultural Layer in English and Uzbek Languages mavzusidagi magistrlik dissertatsiyasi qo'yiladigan talablarga javob beradi va muallifni ayrim kamchiliklarni bartaraf etgan holda magistrlik dissertatsiyasini himoyaga tavsiya etish mumkin deb hisoblangan. Meniki edi. Tashqi taqriz, ushbu taqrizchimiz ham ishning yutuqlarini har bobma-bob aytib o'tganlar va tadqiqot ishida uchraydigan ayrim imloviy, ishoraviy va uslubiy xatolar borligini hamda foydalanilgan misollarning tarjimalarida g'aliz jumlalar mavjudligini aytib o'tganlar va xulosa qilib Sotivoldiyev va Nazira Abdurahmon qizining ingliz va o'zbek tillaridagi eufemizmlarning lingva madaniy qatlamdagi o'rni mavzusidagi dissertatsiyasi magistrlik dissertatsiyasini rasmiylashtirish bo'yicha talab qilingan me'yorlarga mos keladigan tadqiqot ishi bo'lib, ishni davlat attestatsiyasi komissiyasi huzuriga himoyaga tavsiya etaman. Demak, Buxoro davlat universiteti dotsenti davlat va Muhayyib Hasan. Sorry. My colleague.
Please, thank you for all the feedback, advice.
Qabul qilasizmi, Maryam? Qabul qilaman. qilmaysizmi?
Yo'qmi? Qabul qilaman, hamma xatolarimni. Ish joyida kamchilik bo'ladi. Nasib qilsa keyingi o'zimning ishlarimda mana shu kamchiliklarni to'g'rilayman. Sizlarga o'xshagan ustoz bo'laman. Inshaalloh.
To'g'ri yo'ldasiz.
Yaxshi. Omadlaringiz bersin. Mayli. Shu yerda hozir endi tanazzul qilamiz. Bizdan e'lon qilamiz. Yarim soatdan keyin.
Yarim soatdan keyin boshlaymiz.
Birinchi kun 1 soat dedingizlar.
Birinchi kun shunday shu.
Yo'q, 1,5 soat demak elektrik. 1,5 soat demak.